Well, let's officially begin. Hi. Okay, we have officially begun. So to catch Mark up a little bit, after you guys left Phandalin, you discovered that the Wayside Inn, the inn that you first went to at the beginning of the adventure, was actually a kind of a secret base for the Cult of Talos. The bartender, the armorer, and a few of the patrons and people who worked there were actually cultists, and were using some of the locals as sacrifices to sacrifice to Talos and reanimate a statue of Talos that was in the basement. You managed to defeat the cultists, destroy the statue, and you found a map of Talos, of locations where the Cult of Talos is kind of operating from. Those little X's all up and down the Sword Coast. But a major one seemed to be a place on the coast known as the Thundercliffs, where you learned a little later they were luring in ships to shipwreck them, and it's practically a ship graveyard at this point. It's pretty dangerous to get close to, but that's kind of a major base of operations for them at the moment. And when you got back to Leylon, the dockmaster, forget her name at the moment, but the one that uses sign language, said, "I know some captains who could bring you to the Thundercliffs, who will be willing to." And you had the choice between a white dragonborn named Christoffin, who helmed a ship called the Iceflow, and a tabaxi called Stanzan Tar, with her smaller but faster vessel, the Dancing Delight. And Stanzan Tar was very flattering, very energetic, a little high on catnip. But ultimately you decided on the larger, sturdier, and more serious captain of Christoffin, the Dragonborn.
Boring.
He said, "Yeah, it's going to be a boring trip without the tabaxi." So he said, "We'll board in the morning, so everyone gets a long rest."
And then like 6 long rests at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, where have you been?
He meets us on the boat.
Yeah, so Zorsashi shows up with a piece of toast in his mouth, running out, saying, "Sorry, I'm late."
I coincidentally booked passage on this ship to go to my next area of travel.
Oh, good to see you again.
Yes, what have you all been up to?
We killed a giant statue of Talos.
It seems par for the course, honestly. Not surprised. Well, good job. Good job. Next time, remind me to butter my toast up. Burnt bread.
Since you missed out on it, Mark, roll a D100 for me. We'll see if the peculiarity shop is a magic item you might be interested in.
79.
79.
Bag of devouring. Come on.
Yeah. You decided not to buy anything for the rest of the group last time. 79. He has Potion of Fire Giant Strength.
Oh, how much would that be?
He offers, it's a transparent liquid with a silver fingernail of a fire giant floating in it.
Just like Mother used to make.
Yep.
Now, how much?
Change it. It says it's 500 gold. Raise your strength to 25 for 1 hour.
That'd be amazing. It'd be great to purchase it if I had more than 50 gold, which I don't. In fact, I have less than that.
Once he hears how little money you have, he quickly pockets the potion.
Not to disappoint you, but you never know when a bargain is going to show up. You wouldn't have to have a spyglass for cheap, would you? Maybe a used one?
Spyglass?
I'm going on a boat.
Do you have a spyglass?
Certainly is.
thought you
I
had
do not.
something
I
else
have
to
Eyes
do
of the
with
Eagle. I don't have an actual spyglass.
There was a spyglass somewhere. Is it in our shared inventory? But spectacles.
here.
I mean, I have a spyglass here on my desk, but you can't have it.
I mean, I'm
Well, that's
just
very
joking
selfish
because
of you.
spyglasses are actually 1,000 gold pieces and they're basic equipment.
Oh,
So.
you make me look it up. Okay.
I'll just have to use these, and I lower my Eyes of the Eagle. So, anyway, let me know if you next time in here are hoping to find some nice exotic tea leaves. Good day to you.
Tea leaves.
I-
Where's my
oh,
merchant?
my toast is done, and I take it out of my pocket. It's now burnt, and I will start eating it and head to the docks.
Don't forget to butter it.
He
Wish I
forgets to
had
butter
Big
it.
Fellow here to tell me to butter it.
Spyglass is not in my my merchant's PDF. Maybe it's in a book somewhere. So
It's
if you say 1,000,
it's in the actual adventuring gear in the player's handbook.
Okay.
If I remember right, it's about as expensive as plate mail.
Yeah, 1,000 gold pieces.
Yeah, but you can see really, really far. Yes. So that morning, you make your way onto the ice floe. You take a rowboat out. The crew helps you onto the ship. And Christoffen greets you with a bow.
So that's what he looks like.
Oh, you can see him in the other game?
Oh, I was going off of my phone, and I was jumping between like D&D Beyond and the map
oh,
here.
yeah.
It wouldn't work. It would work on the phone. It's just the interface was sucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much just me imagining things in my head.
Yeah, he looks
Yo,
cool. He
yes.
almost has like dreads to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, "Welcome to the ice floe.
Thank you.
May I introduce my first mate, Katisha. He introduces a human woman.
Well and well met.
Hoi hoi.
Greetings, madam.
Shiver me timbers. I've picked up a dictionary of terms that sailors say, so I hope that was accurate. I thumbed through it.
He gestures backwards to some crew mates who are on the ship, and the best damn crew, the Sword Coast. Everyone gives a yar, yar.
They are a enthusiastic bunch. I, for one, am honored to be in the care of the 6 of you. It seems.
There's actually a lot of crew members
Okay.
Low deck.
on the ship.
Let's say you and your fine crew.
Saying it'll be about about a 3-day journey to the Thundercliffs. I know you could have probably gone faster there on horseback, but I don't recommend traveling to the Thundercliffs by anything but sea.
Can you roll an
Dangerous
insight check to
journey.
see if he's just saying that for business purposes?
No one else in town has the part you're looking for, but me.
During the interview process, they were talking about how it's just a sheer cliff face filled with a tribe of Arakoa and any dangers that indigenous creatures that happen to live there. And one fall means you fall your death, basically.
It's not good.
A lot can
Yeah.
happen with 300 feet of a drop.
True enough.
Says it'll be about
And the only part of the drop that matters is the end.
Sally's interested in this ballista right over here at the side of the ship. She's wondering if the ballista takes Yikwas as ammunition.
Mm-hmm.
And the first mate walks up to you and goes, "Oh, you interested in weaponry? Are we? Are you?"
She pulls out her Iqua that was enchanted for a returning weapon, and she gestures to the ballista and wants to know if she could try to fire the Iqua with the ballista.
Well, that's quite an exotic weapon, but perhaps too small for the ballista here.
Aww. Never
Maybe
mind.
next-
She
That's sad.
I mean, you have
Maybe-
to have the correct type of ammo for a projectile weapon. You couldn't put an arrow in a blow dart.
I mean, you could. It just wouldn't do anything.
Blowgun. I'm
Well, we had
think
another long
physically
rest.
you couldn't actually fit an arrow into a blowgun.
And you, Zorsashi, if you think he's serious about the best way to get there is to see.
Very well.
Stoffin
Sounds
goes,
good.
as time is of the essence, I suggest we get underway immediately, unless you have any other duties in Leylon.
I think we're good at the moment.
Lemon is just watching Sally just run around like a little child, finding a new toy, and wondering if we're gonna need to tie her to the mast or like a leash or something.
she's the figurehead.
She's looking for the shark that ate her brother.
She's doing the Titanic pose.
Like,
That's exactly what I'm drawing right now.
does she have? Wait, does she have a? Doesn't she have a tracker for little man?
A tracker for Little Man? No, she does not have a tracker for Little Man. All the if anyone has a tracker, it's probably Big Fellow.
Big fellow's not going near the sea. Why would he need? I wouldn't
Not
think
until
he'd
he's
need-
ready to destroy it.
Is this thing in the back that I'm standing by the gangplank that gets set out when we dock?
What it looks like.
Okay.
No, that's an anchor, you moron.
Oh.
No, maybe we'll get lucky and we'll run into that shark. Who knows?
Let's
It's
lose
a-
the
the boat
sail.
Does the boat list
I'm
slightly?
RPing.
Okay.
But
Go
yeah,
for
I
it
think it's
Okay,
time
what-
to go.
What's your question, Mark?
then. Does the boat list slightly when Murook goes to like the very edge because he's an elephant man?
First
Not
of
that-
all, wow. And
Jeez,
second
I'm
of
not-
all, this is a very sturdy ship.
yeah, I could probably do jumping jacks on the deck, and it probably wouldn't.
I mean,
Go
don't,
ahead.
but maybe.
Yeah. Talos himself couldn't sink this ship.
Ominous thunder in the background.
Yes, I think it's time we set sail.
Anyone for a game of 9 Minutes Morris or Fenerona?
Sally has no idea what that is, but she's down for a game.
I'll teach Sally all the
It's like-
games I
it's like
learned
you
on
command sur-
Assassin's Creed
Would that be a-
3.
Would that be from your homeland?
Yeah, sure.
Not sure, but finally,
You guys hear me?
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah, you got a warning that might have gone out. So if I
Okay.
drop out, that's why. Some of the crewmates hear you talking about this game they never heard of, saying, "What's that you mentioned?"
9 Minutes Morris and another game, Fenerona. been a while since I played. Nobody in the region is familiar with the concept of it, but I'll basically take several stones out of my pocket and maybe like a piece of chalk or something and draw a board for the actual Fenarona board and start explaining the rules of how to move and take pieces based on how you move.
Some of the crewmates gather around as you explain how to play this game.
I'm not going to explain it here because it's been a while since I've done it. It is an actual game, but
Okay.
it's basically in the same vein as checkers. You move somewhere and it takes, or Othello in reverse, I should say. You move away and it takes a certain line of pieces, and whoever has their pieces eliminated is the loser.
I like Go.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking about Go.
Sort of, but Go is more of is sort of a placement game, where this is a movement based capture. But it's in the same vein. It's an abstract, old abstract.
Some of the crewmates go. Some of the crewmates, as you're explaining all the rules, go. This seems confusing. You have anything similar?
9 minutes more. Can you count to 9?
Some of them raise their hands.
Okay.
About a fourth of them.
Okay, that's all right. You know what? How about checkers? Is anybody familiar with checkers?
Is the Fenarona board, does it have a grid that I could just draw an X like I'm playing tic-tac-toe in it?
If you
No.
look over the Discord, we posted the board, and so did Dustin.
Checkers, I barely even know hers.
Oh, no, I can't pretend this is tic-tac-toe.
Around here, we all play Dragon Dice.
Dragon dice.
Well, that sounds like a rousing game. How does it work? Drox, that's the name.
Explain.
It's the old spelling of checkers. Go on.
I'm sure there's rules for Dragon Dice, but let's say it's kind of like Liar's Dice, where you have to bet against dice that the player has in his hand.
Right.
It's how we pass the time on the doldrums.
I mean, that's
Like
what
good
games
damn
are
Liar's
for.
Dice.
Entertainment and time passing. Time goes by quicker when you're having fun.
I like dice poker from The
One of the
Witcher.
crewmates. One of the crewmates goes, I could have used a good doldrum. Our captain has us doing some dull work, but I wouldn't call it doldrums.
I think Zorsashi is immediately going to assume that is a sexual term and just kind of clam up.
No. A doldrum. It's when you're out at sea, no winds.
You're not helping your
Stuck there for
case.
days, weeks at a time. And just the energy is so pent up on the ship, it could just burst.
Oh, well, Return to Zyzzyx. You wouldn't happen to have some sort of gust of wind spell, would you?
Well, if you had caught me before we came out, I could have, but at this point, no. I'm pretty water-centric,
Not wind-centric.
not wind-centric. I can call forth a wind elemental, but that's going to take,
Sally has Thunder Wave, and she could push creatures 10 feet away with it.
That would probably destroy the sails. We don't want that.
Sally could get out and push. She could walk on water.
I can conjure 8 wolves to blow into the sails.
Okay, so then I sit there and explain how the Newton's laws work with action and reaction, equal but opposite reaction, to Zyzzyx over the next day and a half.
I did take control water, which has redirect flow, but it has to be flowing water.
Yeah, unless we had a current, it's probably not going to be helpful.
Actually, I have Gust.
That's
Pretty much
mildly helpful, I guess. I would suggest, Zyzzyx, that after our first day at sea, you probably switch out something for gust of wind. Might make things go faster.
I have levitate. I could levitate a loose object of my choice, and this thing is floating on water, so it's not nailed down to anything.
Up to 1,000 pounds.
I think we're past 1,000 pounds on this.
Yeah, that's Murook's entire weight.
It's either 1,000 or 500. I forget the specific.
I start shooting Sally dirty looks because I know she's making jokes about my
Is this like Bash on Murook Day?
Behind those dead eyes, nothing but insults.
500 pounds. 500 pounds.
One of the crewmates say it's like, at least this is a little bit exciting. Captain hasn't taken us on a proper mission for weeks now. He's playing it safe. He doesn't venture too far from the Sword Coast these days.
Are you mostly a... Sorry, go ahead and finish.
He's saying we used to go... excuse me, we used to take trips down to Boulder's Gate, up to Icewind Dale, but now he just stays in the Neverwinter area. It's like he's too afraid to leave.
Are you mostly a shipping operation?
Yeah, we do cargo every once in a while when we can. But now we're competing with all the local ships that have no problem, that can't make it as far off to sea as we can. And yeah, like I said, no doldrums. The shore's been dull.
Well, hopefully we'll make things more exciting, yet not too dangerous. You are all able seamen. I'm sure that you're able to handle yourself with a weapon.
Need be.
That's good, that's good.
Another one pipes up. All we're said, and we're hoping for a little excitement on this voyage. Captain used to be a risk taker, but it's like he's changed. And everyone kind of around you kind of nods in agreement. As you see the 8-foot figure of Christoffin kind of approach from behind, he goes, "Gentlemen, I think you have duties to attend to. Leave our guest in peace." And you all kind of grumble. They go, "Aye, Captain." They go about their duties.
Panorama lessons at any time.
A fair wind today. Would you agree, gentlemen?
Sally agrees wholeheartedly.
Which way is my cloak blowing?
It's blowing to the east. Well, actually, to the north.
Farewell, fair wind indeed. Yes.
Actually, the boat's going north. So, going to the north.
I assume that the sails are able to adjust for the directional changes.
Like, of course.
Great, awesome, wonderful.
So tell me, have any of you been on a ship before at sea?
Not Sally.
Nope.
Not the great oceans out here, but more of the inland, larger bodies of water. The inland seas out east.
I'm sure I've taken a raft down a river once or twice.
Never.
Remember, if you lose control of your constitutions, do it over the side of the ship, not on my deck.
My constitutions are quite hardy. Thank you very much.
We do have some here that may be able to clean the... No, wait, nobody knows prestidigitation. Never mind, we shall go over the edge.
I can just turn into a dog and eat it.
Everybody just turns to look at Zyzzyx.
I'm doing the pinch
You're right.
my nose thing, that you do when you can't believe someone said that. You know the expression. I'm doing that right now.
Good
Stop
point.
judging
I
his
don't-
people's culture. Eating
Yeah.
vomit is perfectly fine for his culture.
Good point. I don't need to turn into a dog to do it. It's a delicacy in the lizard world.
I
The
step,
first
You're
mate
ignorant.
wanders up.
I just step away from Zyzzyx.
The first mate kind of wanders up. She goes, "The Thundercliffs, eh? Pretty dangerous place. Why you guys want to go?"
I
We're
just
going.
passage.
We're going cultist hunting.
Oh, that's where you're going? Oh, well, I guess I'm okay to accompany you. I've done it before. Why not again? I just want to go see the
Agreed.
Thundercliffs.
We agreed to take Zorsashi further north. Um, are you leaving Leylon? Like, what's your purpose for going north?
Just traveling, making my way around. I'm from pretty far east. It's getting the lay of the land and the cultures around here.
He's been kind of traveling with us a little bit.
Like a pet.
But we kind of
I
lost
smacked
track of him.
Sally in the back of the head.
We lost track of him while we were, when we left Phandalin in a hurry.
Yes, I was wondering where they went, but I assume they went out to do more Phandalorian things. Merely
Yes.
a Phandalorian stand-in, if you will.
Stand in the DeLorean.
They take you as far north as Neverwinter. But
That
we have
works for
other
me. I
duties
hear
to
there's
attend to this
wonderful
area.
things in Neverwinter. Weather sounds beautiful there.
I hear the nights are quite wonderful.
First mate goes, normally we could take you as far as the Icewind Dales, but Captain doesn't seem to be in the mood lately.
Might be too far north for me anyway. It's not appropriated to the cold quite yet.
Soften goes, that'll be enough, Stasha. The Dale's dangerous this time of year. Not going to take any unnecessary risk.
Indeed. I'm actually going to, at some point during this conversation, just do detect magic and look around, see if there's anything magical on any of the soldier or any of the sailors, the captain, first mate, or even on deck. Because I can do that at will now. Why not? Not to make you look things up, but if nothing important there, it's okay if you skip it.
Nothing stands out. Maybe someone has a little trinket here and there.
Okay.
How do you guys want to spend your day at sea?
If I had a fishing rod, I'd go fishing.
Sally wants to look at. Sally wants to look for sharks.
I should ask to see if there was a extendable fishing rod, because that is a magic item.
Well, we did have an extending rod, but
Yeah.
You tell the
With the
sad
way of little man.
story of
I wanted to get a fishing tackle, but I accidentally got a blocking tackle.
you find
You could,
a sailor who has a little accordion, and tell him the lament of little man.
oh.
And all the
That's
people
the-
gathering around are just crying and sobbing. It's like, he was so brave.
He was a good boy.
I start playing along with the guy on the accordion with my bagpipes.
Sally sheds a robot tear.
You all invent a sea shanty based on the travels of Little Man.
There
The best-
once was little man at sea.
In 500 years, someone will make a techno remix of it, and it'll be popular for about a month.
Mm-hmm.
So the techno remix, it was a TikTok continuing collaborative TikTok.
Stop trying to explain the joke.
But he was wrong.
That must be.
Neighbors on.
It has to
Go
be. Never mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, Murook, you find some of the crewmates, do some fishing. Though the ship is moving, so it doesn't really work out that well.
You want me to
Maybe
roll
catch
for
a
it?
marlin or something.
I get-
Sure.
I guess that'd be what, nature or survival?
It can be survival.
Actually, because I think I get to roll advantage on survival.
Excuse me.
Got a little A next to it, but I don't know why.
It needs advantage, yeah.
$20?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. You catch a marlin.
We're eating good tonight.
They all cheer. He goes, "Ah, that'll make a fine feast."
Can Sally use her Yikla to try spearing fish, like throw and return, throw and return?
Is it magic
Sure.
the way it comes back?
Yes.
Okay.
Does it come? But does what is attached to the equal come back?
If it's impaled, I'm guessing.
It's one of their artificer abilities.
And is it truly magic, or do you just have a rope to it and you
Yeah,
Don't ruin the magician's
like
secret.
make spooky noises and you pull it in?
It's got like a little thin wire and it spools out.
Been had.
yeah. But if you use the magic to retrieve it, what's attached doesn't come back.
Oh.
But what if it's actually just a little wire attached to the equal, and she reels it back in?
Offer her 50 feet of hempen rope to attach to it. Do it the old-fashioned way if you want to fish with it.
Give me a survival. Catch a not so bad sea bass.
Pretty good.
I didn't even
a
know they're in the
fantasy sea
same
bass.
region of the ocean. That's amazing.
Just one after another. Everyone just goes, "Yay, fish!"
Sally goes under deck to where the ship's cook is and gives the sea bass to the cook.
Okay. Actually, is a underside here. Doesn't feel weird. Oh, this is acting weird.
This is not. Yeah, there you go.
Soon until the Kraken shows up.
This is a fan-made map, so it's kind of made a ship.
Fan-made map for the Vandals. Good one though. Good one. I'll probably start exploring downstairs as well.
Nothing too unusual. It's where the crew sleeps. They set aside some beds for you in the end of the ship for you to sleep in.
I'll do another detect magic. Just because I don't think you can see through most walls and stuff.
Where's the cook station?
Say somewhere.
It's going to be right here. Yep, right there.
I mean, realistically, a boat is not going to have a big open thing for beds. That they'd be
Free
bumped
beds, yeah.
or
Have,
along
like,
the sides
hammocks.
and something like that. Yeah, but so.
Yeah. Hey, it's fantasy.
I get first
Fan-made map
class.
A fan-made map for the Fandalorians on a fantasy.
I was wondering why the sea looked like orange soda.
Orange soda, it's blue.
Fantasy. It's a fantasy.
Okay.
Oh.
Right. So, Sally's done for the day.
But yeah, does I assume detect magic doesn't spot anything, so I snoop around.
Yeah, it doesn't want to pick up on anything. And as the day grows darker, the Christoffin excuses himself and he retires to his cabin.
He's got a fancy cabin.
Well, he's the captain.
I assume there are doors probably around here and here or something.
Yeah,
where
this map
doors
doesn't
count as-
really do a great job showing where it is.
Okay, I'm not. I don't
there's-
get too picky. I just assume that because that's a raised area. The aft castle, I believe. There's probably something in there.
Yeah, like the doors are kind of like this goes up to where the wheel is, but there's like doors that leave that are like on this level
Yeah,
below the doors. This thing.
yeah. That's what I assumed. My limited knowledge of boating.
It's on this side over here. Look on the right.
Oh, I see. Okay.
See, there's
I mean, realistically, it's not going to be a 5-foot wide staircase anyway. So.
yeah. So that door, see on the near the end is where he went to. And no one's steering the ship. Oh.
Yeah. It's called after castle, or sometimes aft castle, the stern structure behind the mizzenmast, above the transom. I'm sure some of those words made sense. The articles.
I don't speak undercommon, so I don't understand any of that.
Look, everyone
How-
tell me
How fast does the boat move?
35 knots, Brice. I don't know.
Well, I need to know because if what I want to do today is go swimming as a swimming creature, I don't want the boat to leave me behind.
I think you could do that.
Okay. So what I realize is the only swim speed I have is the snake and the toad. I never actually got like sharks and stuff. So I think with
and your just natural swim speed.
that's true.
You can always just look over the edge and wait until you see something.
Well,
Yeah,
but I also
was about to say,
everyone's catching fish. I kind of want to go like be a toad and try to catch some big fish. And if I'm down,
Give me
the
nose, give me a perception.
all right, I can do that. I rolled
That's
an
pretty
8.
good. Sometime during the day, you see a group of dolphins,
Dolphins!
and they come up next to the ship. And you jump in and you turn to a dolphin, and it's just the most wonderful experience you've ever had in your life.
I love it. I'm gonna roll for how much fun I had.
You breathe
Did,
through a
Sally's-
blowhole.
So I see that through the portholes that below deck.
Are there portholes below deck?
I don't think there would be.
Fun. All right, I'm gonna try to do the flipper thing where he is up and out of the water and moves backwards, and I don't do a good job.
And we leave you behind.
You fall backwards.
Yeah. But I had fun doing it, and I waved my flipper at Sally.
Sally
All the
can't
other
see, she's on below
dolphins,
deck.
You said you went up top.
Nope.
No.
all the dolphins laugh, but you realize they're not laughing at you; they're laughing with you.
Yay!
They say,
did
"Come
that
live with us." Is porpoise?
No, I was
They
gonna say
say-
purpose. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay, because that would make sense. They say, "King Zyzzyx, live with us. Be our king.
I'm sure you have a mighty fine king already. Tell you what,
We can have adventures under the ocean."
I'm already on an adventure, but I'm sure we'll be coming back this way.
We love you, Zyzzyx.
I love you too.
Double King Zyzzyx.
Gotta jump
Yep.
up and back on the ship with a jump. I guess that would
Give
be
me a athletic or acrobatics.
okay. Athletics would be a lot better because dolphins have +5 to it.
I try to catch Zyzzyx as he comes back on board.
All right, acrobatics is just dex. Oh man.
You try to do a flip, but it just end up flopping on the deck for a few minutes, and eventually you turn back into a lizard. It takes you a minute for you to know how to walk again. So you really get flopping on the deck.
You okay down there?
Guys, that was awesome.
How was the dolphin?
I was so graceful. Did you see?
Yes.
I think as I tried to catch him, I did catch him, but then he started flopping around and flopped out of my hands.
Dolphins have some huge skills. Animal handling, insight, perception, survival are all +6.
Well, they are the
I didn't know
second
dolphin
smartest
was a-
animal on the planet behind mice.
Nice.
Let's see.
I didn't know it was an official creature.
Yeah, it is. Athletics 5, nature 4. Well, I guess that makes sense. They're animals.
It is a viable one for wild shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a beast with swim speed.
That's weird.
Picked a
I
good
searched
one.
for it on D&D Beyond. I didn't see it.
Probably not in the SRD.
Now you feel like a fool for giving him a dolphin.
Yeah, it's in Volo's Guide to Monsters.
Oh, it's monsters. Huh? Well, here it is. Yeah. Huh. Whoa! Look at them go.
Hmm.
Hold breath for 20 minutes.
So he's a double Guybrush.
I want you to everyone to make a perception check as you
Everyone?
make your way down. Everyone make a perception check as you make your way downstairs.
Would you say smell is involved?
I mean, you are smelling, but it's not necessarily you're smelling for something.
Oh, that's okay because I have advantage. That's a natural 20 and a natural 1. So 24.
19.
12.
Zyzzyx or not Zyzzyx, Zorsashi and Zyzzyx and Murook. You notice when you make your way down the stairs, you see a small group of sailors, including the first mate, kind of huddled in the corner, speaking among themselves, speaking in whispers.
Secrets, huh? Can I make out anything they're saying?
Nope. They kind of stop once they see you.
Greetings.
Ahoy, matey. Yar. I give a thumbs up.
They're not pirates.
First mate goes.
Well, then what is this terminology?
Your
book I
quarters
have?
are in the
It's
rear.
not-
He says, the first mate goes, your quarters are in the rear of the ship. Try not to be sick.
Is there like an empty like box or bucket or something around like you just grab?
Yeah, they put a bucket by your beds.
I had one of these when I was a kid. It was called a throw-out bucket.
Notice he called it the rear of the ship, not the stern, because he doesn't think that we know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's exactly what it is. It has nothing to do with our DM.
Yeah, nothing with the fact that I don't know what ship parts are called.
Honestly, by doing any sort of like shipping thing in Dungeons and Dragons, you learn a lot about terminology. It's actually kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. I know there's a poop deck. Is there a poop deck?
Yeah, it's right here.
Mast?
That's the poop deck.
A little bit of poop next to my bucket. I missed. Is that what the bucket's for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Poop bucket.
It seconds as a bedpan.
It's labeled chum.
Oh, the bucket wants to be our friend.
No, that's what they fish with.
Oh, they catch sharks.
When we get in the back, I kind of talk to Zyzzyx privately and be like, "Hey, did you see that we got down here?"
Yeah, it seems like there was something going on.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, are y'all talking about that? Are you talking about that weird thing with them kind of grouping up?
Yeah, you see that too? Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you hear anything?
Sorry, no.
No,
They stopped. They stopped the instant we came downstairs. There was.
Could you like decipher what they were saying from the smell of their breath?
No, because they stopped the instant we came down the stairs. I just saw that they were grouped up, and it kind of looked not quite the. It didn't look quite right.
It didn't even seem like like racism sort of thing either. Like it seemed like secrecy.
Yeah.
Now, if we need to, and I whisper even lower, if you think that we may need to do some reconnaissance, I have some tiny beasts in my repertoire, made perfect for sneaking around.
Well, the problem is they would be kind of conspicuous on a ship.
A spider?
Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, Quizlix.
Well, I haven't used Quizlix in a while. I like being.
Did we even bring him?
Nah.
No, I would
Ever
recommend one thing.
Ever since he started costing money.
When we go to sleep
ever since he started costing 10 gold.
Yeah.
Started following the rules.
Okay, I will say this.
King Titan.
Maybe tonight, we kind of take turns. So like one of us stays up and watches over the rest of us,
For what?
and we kind of take turns.
Sally volunteers because she doesn't need sleep.
Yeah,
We'll
there we
fill
go.
We'll fill Sally and Lemon in on what the details were. Like they were kind of acting kind of suspicious, or as I look in my pirate terms, stoose.
I mean, we've hired them.
Yeah, I didn't
But
get the sense that there was any ill intent. It just seems like there was ship business that they were talking about.
No, I mean,
There are little among us, if you get my drift.
They're a little sus.
Okay.
well, I mean, we are brand new
Brice.
into it, so of course there's going to be stuff that we don't know about.
Well, maybe just Sally, just keep an eye on us while we sleep. See if nobody tries to sneak in.
I have a feeling that Sally almost always just stares at us while we sleep.
You know
That's
what?
she's a robot.
No, you're actually right. It's strangely comforting.
At least she isn't wearing the helmet anymore, so she doesn't have the nightlight eyes.
Oh,
No, she
God,
doesn't.
yeah.
She's all about cowboys now.
Until
See,
she
that's
goes
weird.
to-
I can. I think that's weird. I can see the inside of my eyelids, so. Curse about being able to see anything in darkness.
I think everybody can see the inside of their eyelids.
Oh, I can see a good bright detail.
So many veins. But I was hoping to use Zyzzyx again. Quizlix again. Oh, well.
I can't afford them.
Yeah, we've only got
like-
like 900 gold points.
Yeah, if you have like 800 gold in the thingamajig.
Oh, I always forget about.
We're
the share.
saving that for a spyglass.
No, we
We're gonna
aren't.
share it.
I am gonna spider it up and go creeping around tonight. Once
Oh
it's
yeah,
over.
yeah.
Maroon
1,000
decides
gold
to,
pieces for advantage with a perception roll. Great spend.
I mean, I've already got the eyes of the eagle, so I just want to get like super advantage over wherever from far distances and close distances.
just on a lark, Maruk decides to put on the dread helm and see what that looks like. So now there's this giant
Terrifying.
elephant man. Giant elephant man wearing a steel helm with bright red glowing eyes.
Now he's got
Terrifying.
foot tusks.
Hey, I could probably. Would you say I could roll advantage on intimidation while I'm wearing this?
No, it's just a. Looks a little scary.
Not like scurvy or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, there's nothing funny about scurvy. Zyzzyx, you said you wanted to turn to a spider and walk around the ship at night?
Yeah. I wanted to see if there's anything I can spy on.
I would say you would forgo a long rest.
Ooh. Could I still get a short rest? And if I
Still
forgo a
get short
long
rest.
and are you saying that I will take a level of exhaustion?
Not for
Or you
one
just-
night, no.
Okay. Then yeah, I approve of this.
Yeah, I don't
Want
think.
to go?
That's a great question. So I want to sneak around to see if there's if I see any more hushed conversations happening, and I want to listen to them.
Actually, first, there's actually some rules of wild shape that may be relevant here about how
Okay.
long you can do it.
Yes. So I believe I have 8 hours at this point. Let
So
me
you have to
double
roll
check.
for it, or is it?
No, and I apologize. It is 4 hours. So I have 4 hours of wild shape.
Okay, so you can spend 4 hours. Is it like 1 hour plus your
Class level
Modifier
divided by
equivalent.
two.
Okay. You can wander around the ship as a spider. Where do you want to go?
Up to the upper deck, and I'm just gonna be Zyzzyx right now, but I'm not Zyzzyx.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna kind of climb up here and see what I can see. See if there's anyone conversing. That's what I want to do. Is just eavesdrop. And let me see
So
what
you
kind
see
of features a spider
the
may
first
do.
mate. He's sleeping with the rest of the crew, but you see basically the night shift.
Okay, I forgot that this is the crew quarters. I think that's.
Well, that's who we saw being Zeus.
Say that again.
That's who we saw being Zeus, not the captain. The captain already retired.
Right. Okay. So before I would sneak into the crew quarters to see what's up there before heading to the upper deck. Is there anything going on in there? Is everyone just doing their sleeping thing?
Give me perception.
Got it. And that would be as the spider. Because it's or would it? I can never remember.
The mind attributes are you. The physical attributes are the beast. So intelligence, wisdom, charisma are you.
And wisdom is perception.
Yes.
But doesn't it rely on? Yeah, but doesn't it rely on you using the physical features of the thing you are? Like the spider's eyes and the spider's ear hole? You know what?
Yeah, but the mind is still yours.
Okay, and also they're both +6. So
Yeah.
I'm arguing nothing.
As you usually do.
You got me there. 17.
Wibbling.
I would
Skitter.
So everyone's basically in their bunk.
Okay.
Or in their little cot. You do come across some people near this end. They're sleeping closer together, but you notice they're not actually asleep.
Okay.
Their eyes are open, kind of darting around the room, as if on the lookout.
Interesting. Okay.
You hear one, after a few moments, you hear one say, "Do you think they're asleep yet?" He goes, he listens and he hears Murook snore. An elephant snore. And he goes, "Yeah, I think they're asleep. At least the big one is."
Okay.
And
Well, that's something.
kind of one by one, all of the crew kind of wake up, including the first mate, and they begin their huddle again.
Okay. I want to sneak
She
over.
goes, you can't crawl up the wall. And she goes, God, that was a close one. Doesn't concern them anyway. But listen, the plan, we're going to stick by the plan. Tomorrow morning at dawn, we're going to make our move. I've made sure the weapon locker's unlocked. Grab whatever you need. But we're going to get to the bottom of this. And hopefully no one will get hurt. But don't be afraid to use force if you need to.
Oh dear.
This is for the best.
Now I
And they all
wonder.
kind of nod and go, yar, yeah, yar.
It's like our pirates.
It might be
Goes.
privileges.
They say, well, what about me and my wooden leg? Says a dwarf pirate. Or sailor, or whatever. He goes, Stumpy, you can't He's like, you just stay in the back. He goes, yar, Stumpy's always in the back.
Because he can't keep up with the rest of the group.
Especially with his peg leg.
Oh man. Okay. So with me in here waiting, how long do you think I've been in here? Hour, 2 hours?
About a half hour.
Oh,
And
okay.
then eventually, after they had their little talk, they seemed to go to bed for real.
Jeez. Okay. I think the next place that I want to go would be to the captain's quarters to see if there's anything going on there, if I can get into it.
That's all the spider traps.
Yeah.
He is a pet rat that loves to eat spiders.
I mean, I'm pretty scared doing all this reconnaissance because I have hit points of 1. So if I take 3 damage, I'm permadead.
Wow.
Yes, that is a problem.
No, that's not how it works. You immediately you pop back.
Oh,
into
you're
your
right.
normal
You're
state.
right. You're right. Okay,
Yeah.
you're right. That's
Yeah,
okay.
which I was kind of hoping that you had been spot by the crew, because they would have done that. You would have immediately turned back into your thing, and you'd be like, meow, like Sonic.
Classic movie, Sonic the Hedgehog, yeah. America's Sweetheart.
Now available streaming. Hashtag not an ad.
Now you kind of stick to the walls to avoid all the rats that are obviously infesting this ship.
Of course.
Christopher keeps a clean ship.
Oh. Yeah.
You
And,
are-
well, I guess the Tabaxi ship would also not have rats on it because, I mean, they're cats.
Yeah.
That's a
Yes.
harmful stereotype.
Mm.
You're able to crawl underneath the
Okay.
captain quarters. He's actually at his table, the map and a sextant. And
Okay.
he's kind of plotting out off the course.
The one thing that I wanted to focus on and check on here is if I could tell if I wanted to look at his map and his course and check to see if the course that he is on is the one that we expect it to be. Am I able to decipher that?
Since you were getting close to him on purpose, why
Uh-oh.
don't you do a stealth check?
Okay.
Come on, one. Come on, one.
I got a 13 on stealth.
Ooh, lucky you. So he kind of brushes his hand against the table, and he actually drops something on the floor. And he just kind of curses under his breath, and he leans over to pick it up, and you're able to take a quick glance at the map. And it is a map of the Sword Coast.
Okay.
You do see a course laid in about halfway from Neverwinter from Leyland, and which you know to be the locations of the Thundercliffs.
Okay.
He also has. See, there's a place that's labeled as the Moonshae Isles, kind of to the northwest of Neverwinter, which he's seen a lot of traffic back and forth to.
Okay. Looks like. Okay.
You see in the past that he's there's marks near the Icewind Dale and way down to Waterdeep and Baldur's Gate. But the more recent, but those are all like faded, and it's like ink and fade on the map like that. But it seems to be the most recent marks seem to be mostly places around Neverwinter.
Okay.
And around that area.
So nothing shady on here. At least the captain seems to be taking us where we want to go. Okay. The last thing I want to do before I come back is find the weapons room, find the armory, so I know where it is.
Why don't you give me one more percent?
Find it and lock it.
I don't think I can. I shoot some web into the door. I got a 20 for perception on that one.
Which was the minimum I was looking for.
Oh!
You notice something glittering kind of underneath the map.
Huh?
But like something just barely sticking out that seems to be underneath the map, kind of poking its head out.
Can I tell what it is? Do I have to get like all up in his grill to get a closer look?
Kind of move out of the way as he comes back up, but from what you can tell, it looks like a piece of jewelry. It almost looks like a large needle, as far as you can tell. But it seems to be mostly hidden by the map.
That is. I jot that down in my mental notebook.
In a way that says
Yeah, there's nothing.
some pig map.
He looks in the corner and goes, "That's some pig." But he continues his work. And he goes, journey should take another 2 days. Just kind of murmurs to himself. Good time, good time.
Alright, and that is the information I wanted to get from there, so looking for the armory and then heading back to the room with my crew.
Skitter.
Sally's still wide awake.
Say the weapon locker would be, on the bottom floor here,
Okay.
like right there, example.
Okay.
And you can see that the lock on it, well, appears to be closed. If you pay close attention, it's actually unlocked.
Alright. Alright. I skitter back on in and I re-lizardify.
Ah, spider!
Ow!
You're dead.
And now the crew now has no idea. The team has no idea what I've learned.
At least we get a good night's sleep.
No, don't kill it. Just toss it out the window.
It's kinder that way.
And I don't have any more wild shapes left today, so I can't do.
And just toss it in that bucket you've already used.
Oh, yeah.
Since that was a fairly short excursion, you didn't really hang around too long anywhere. You would be able to take a long rest.
Ayo, thank you. I'm gonna search
But
something out to get gust.
But before you do, kind of let us in on what's going on.
So yeah, I do. I want to share that there is something happening at dawn. The crew is planning something. I don't know what. It seems they said that they're gonna stick to the plan and make their move at dawn. The weapons locker is gonna. I don't need to rehash it. You were already there. I relay everything, and I also say I don't know if it's maybe. I don't think it involves us specifically. If I got the feeling that it wasn't necessarily us. They specifically said they're going to get to the bottom of it. So I think that they suspect the captain of something.
Sounds like a mutiny of some sort.
That's-
which
yep.
already
Yes.
is bad, but we don't
I-
know what the reasons are.
It's a birthday
Okay.
party, and they're going to get to the bottom of that cake.
Oh, Sally, you're so naive.
I think we should maybe stay out of it until we see how it's. Because as they said, it's not our business.
It
As long as we get to Thundercliffs,
Yeah. Well, I don't know how. I'm there with you. I'm torn. I don't know how involved we should get. Obviously, I don't want anyone hurt, but it didn't seem like they did either. So, and I also do tell him that I checked on the captain's quarters, and I did verify that we are on the right course. And I do share that there was something glittery hidden under his map.
Oh, I mean, that could just be like a sentimental earring
His
of
mother's
some sort.
necklace.
I show the earring I picked up and traded for a couple sessions back.
Well, yeah.
so
But maybe that's what they're after. Maybe they just want to. Maybe these are just petty thieves.
I mean, mutiny on a ship carries a pretty hefty
Yeah.
penalty.
unless
If
it's
it's a
failed
proper mutiny, then they would have to have a reason to do this, or basically dispose of all the witnesses and evidence.
So, I mean, if we wanted to come up with some options, we could make sure that we're awake and we could confront this group before they make their move and see if they want to explain themselves.
And what if what they're planning to do is completely benign and not at all as dangerous as you think it might be?
Well, most benign things don't involve arming yourself.
This is
Birthday
true.
parties might.
I mean,
Flashbacks to first episode of Frisky Dingo where that actually happened.
I was about to say, I bet my time in Sigil is even no matter what kind of party you're going to, you want a weapon.
Well,
I mean,
okay, first, let's also put a pin in the fact that Sally clearly wants a birthday party when we get back home.
Yes.
We
At
got-
least 3 dead bodies.
Minimum.
It's not it's not a birthday party without a dead body.
does any of us, you wizards, you spellcasters that can pick your things at dawn. Anybody have any truth spells of some sort?
Great question. Let's see.
I do actually, I don't really know like that kind of stuff, but I do know. If I want to, I can. I seem to be able to make people say the truth when they're around me.
That might be beneficial if we could get
Yeah.
the first mate was part of this.
Mhm.
Yes.
First mate was.
Ev-
With
It seems like everyone on the crew but the captain.
We can get someone there to separated for whatever reason, then run your truth serum ability, whatnot. Might be able
Everyone
to
on
get
the
some
crew but the
answers.
captain's birthday.
What we can do is we can wait by the weapons locker.
Mm,
Is the weapon locker on our part of the ship?
yes, it is.
Yeah.
I'd tell them where I found it.
Why don't we lock it?
Or do we have a way of unlocking it?
We don't need to.
We might.
Don't you already have a weapon?
That's not yet. This is true.
What I'm saying is, yes, we already have weapons. But what if they have very good reason for their mutiny? So what I'm saying is, do we have a lock we could replace it with that we have control of?
I mean, we could always break it open if necessary, but if we would want to,
Yeah, quick question, Joey. Was it like an open padlock, or was it a door that needed a key to lock and unlock?
It's like a block.
Okay.
padlock.
Sally, could you kind of finagle up a lock?
Sure, if I have enough time, I could try to. I have smithing tools. You just give me the material.
I mean, if you want to lock it, you just have to put it in place, basically.
I mean, what if we want to unlock it?
Then you need a key or a spell.
Well,
Anyone know
Unfo-
not?
Well, we know that the first mate has the key. So if we end up wanting to just get out of their way and let it happen, then we can.
I think our best course of action is to get one of them away from that and see if we can get some truth out of them for real. Although, if they're doing something worse, that would alert everybody.
Yep.
Even if they're having some sort of mutiny, or let's say worst case scenario, they're doing a mutiny that doesn't involve us, they might not do anything to us. If they said it doesn't involve us, it kind of sounds like they don't intend us harm, but, you know.
Well, I stress that
Wishful
they
thinking.
didn't intend anyone harm. All of the talks were hoping that whatever they're going to do is without violence and injury.
They could be thinking that we adventurers jump to the captain's rescue, or whatever might be going on.
which is a possibility.
And then
but
they would grab weapons and defend themselves.
Sure. Which
That
leads
could be
me
what
to
they're doing.
our second option of how to handle this. Second of three. Second would be we go to the captain's quarters and let him know what we overheard. And three is just do nothing and see what happens.
I don't feel without the information that we should take sides.
Right.
If this is unrelated to us and not going to involve us.
Yep.
However,
exactly. So, going to the captain, I don't think is a good option at this time.
I think I agree with you.
But I also think doing nothing is not a good option at this time.
Then I think that maybe we are waiting at dawn when
Yeah, we're just gonna wait for dawn at the weapons locker,
yeah.
and whoever comes by first, we're gonna say, "So what's the deal?"
Yeah, what is happening? Please tell us your reasons, and we'll go from there.
Mr.
want
Lemon,
Salad
how
as
does
Vanguard
your-
there?
Mi-
Say that?
Mr. Lemon, how does your truth ability work?
I just think about that people should tell the truth, and and just some people in the area they have difficulty lying.
So it happens in an area, and it's not just a one-on-one conversation. Then
Yes.
it's not a
But actually-
stationary area because we are in a moving vessel. I guess that sounds like we will have to figure this out as we go.
I think usually if it's targeted at a floor, then it would probably follow the floor.
I was gonna say, Mark, quit trying to be smart.
Yeah, no, I
This
think
You're not very good at it.
I think the rules as they are, I think it's ruled that if you do an area spell on a ship, it stays with the ship.
Okay. Because this is the kind of thing where obviously none of you have played a game where somebody casts a spiritual weapon on a moving airship, because that doesn't work real well.
It follows.
Well,
the thing is
you would rule that the ship. You would rule that the spell is attached to the ship.
Nope, it's not. It's a free moving hammer. Moves 20 feet per round. But that is neither here nor there. This is up for Joey's discretion.
Yeah, it's
as
over
he's
there.
the DM.
Specifically,
You start arguing about spiritual weapon, and it can work on a moving object.
if
The sun comes up and no one gets a long rest.
Yeah.
the specific spell that he knows is Zone of Truth.
I figured.
Well, that's a good one. But that one you don't know if they passed or failed, right?
No, but apparently, you don't.
Know you
but,
used it.
Yeah, if they fail it and they become affected by it, they do know that there is a spell going on.
But like the caster does not know if the victim has failed or passed their check. Is that right?
Reading this, no. Or you can't tell, but most likely from their reaction to it, you'll probably find out quickly.
And you could just ask a very obvious question that would be like, "Hey, how long's your penis?"
And then you just look to see what they're.
I believe we should not ask that question. That's
Oh no!
Fair enough.
Hey, no, it specifically says you know whether each creature succeeds or fails.
Yeah. Okay.
So there you go.
all right. Well, then we've got our plan. I say we rest and wake up before dawn, before they get started on this, and we go from there.
Well, it's better to have a long rest then. So.
Do you still think that a gust of wind might be useful for us to have?
Honestly, if we kill everybody on here, we probably need a way to push ourselves home or to wherever we need to be. One thing I am going to do is that I'm going to try and jury rig something under the door to make it unlockable. Depending on how the door works, I will let your imagination.
Do you have that immovable rod?
I don't. I know. Honestly, an immovable rod on a moving ship is a bad idea.
Do you have?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with. I'm gonna have to agree with that. No,
I mean, it'd be a funny idea. I totally want to do that for a long time, but
With the momentum of the ship, technically.
it works
Well,
up to I
isn't it
think
like-
1,000 pounds of pressure. But I didn't have that. I had an expendable rod.
Do you have a right triangle?
Oh, that's right. It was just that's right.
I don't. Why would I need that?
No, we have an immovable rod because we use it to break the door in the dwarf city.
We have an immovable rod.
Oh, yeah. Well, then who has it?
it's the extendable rod that.
No, we did have an immovable rod. We got that from that temple. Did we use it to like prop that door open or close?
No,
Close,
that was an unbreakable arrow. I had shoved it in there to make it to lock it. So.
No, we had an immovable rod. It was the place. It was in the place that Sally got the dread helm. But like I like we had it. Then we couldn't make the next week's session, and then the next session we came back. I had the dread helm.
I don't see it in the magic items thing. So
I don't
Must
have
have
it.
been left behind.
yeah.
Wow, that was.
I-
I thought that was the rod that was in that we used
Yeah,
on the shark.
so just to clear things up, the one that went in the shark was an extendable rod. And
Oh, yeah,
in another thing
yeah.
where I locked two people in a thing, I used an unbreakable arrow to basically just make it so they couldn't force open the door from the arrow preventing that. But I don't recall the immovable rod if we had it or not, and I don't see it. So, but either way, I'm not going to use that on a ship.
Well, not on a
Alright,
ship
so how,
that you want to keep sailing.
Yeah.
so how do you guys want to know it's dawn? Someone keep a watch all night? Wake you
Sally,
up?
Sally,
Yeah. Well, first off, can I jury rig the door to make it so they can't lock us in here? That's something that I want to try and do.
Yeah, you find a loose piece of wood somewhere and you just jury rig it underneath the door.
That works.
I'm gonna look up the Icefire Peak campaign, see if there's an immovable rod in it.
I'm 100%
But-
certain we used a movable rod in the.
yeah,
Have you found it in the manse?
There are big spiders on the upper floor. We had to shrink down to go into these portholes. There was
Yeah,
but-
things that
yeah,
smelled like
yeah,
but,
cookies.
Yeah, but you
There
found
does
it in
appear
the
to be an
manse.
immovable rod based on what I'm looking
With
at.
the,
So
Cloak of billowing and the immovable rod. You found it behind a fireplace.
yeah.
oh, what would happen to it?
Shock and
Somebody
cast an
probably
illusionary spell.
dropped it.
Are really dumb.
We'll just say
Dartigan is
that. We'll
using
just
it
say
to-
that Dartigan has it.
Yeah,
he-
we had-
He's using it to prop up something.
He's hanging
Oh,
vines from it for to make wine from.
Alright,
Well,
as everyone's snoozing, I think Sally still gets a long rest technically, because I think constructs just need to basically just chill out for 8 hours.
They're like low
But
power.
Zyzzyx, you can lose your exhaustion level.
Oh, I do have one. Okay, thank you.
And it's approaching sunrise.
Sally taps on all of them to wake them up gently, not super harsh like she did with the goats, but just gently taps them awake.
all right. Well, let's go. Let's go station in front of the door, in front of the locker.
I'm gonna stand near the doorway, and I'm just gonna one of the doors anyway, and just like look seasick. I wonder if I can.
It's too many beds. Too many people for those beds.
They're bunk beds. Yeah, I can't really do it with thaumaturgy. I'll probably, yeah, no. I'll
Were
just,
there-
I'll just
were there that
act
many-
seasick.
Were there that
Take my
many
bucket.
people? Were there that many people there last night?
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
You can't see that technically, but
We know they're all in there, though.
Lock the doors and then burn them from dropping things from the grate above them.
Sally, we talked about this.
eventually you see the first mate walk out.
Checking Sally's alignment right now.
He goes,
I'm just gonna start. The daytime is
Oh.
fine. The nighttime.
Lemon, why is Lemon still in bed?
Somebody woke him
Because I didn't move my icon yet.
up.
but since Sally was not keeping watch at the weapon locker. The weapon locker's empty.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Whoops.
Oh.
That's,
Oh, that's on us.
Should have locked it.
You should have been keeping watch on it. But the first mate walks out and goes, "Oh, you're early birds, huh? Well, let's go up on you okay
We're
there,
just-
friend?"
It's not a good night.
Yes, our friend there did not have a... That's one reason why we're up so early. He did not sleep so well.
She finds a bucket in the corner. He goes and kind of holds your back, and as you start wrenching, he goes, just go in this. Throw it overboard."
All right. And while she does that, I'm going to take a quick perception, also with detect magic, and just also look over, see if I can see any weapons on her that are obvious. So two things. I'll probably do the look first, just the spot. See if I spot any weapons on her.
She appears to be wearing a rapier. You saw her wearing it yesterday.
Okay, so no other weapons then.
A couple daggers attached to her boot, but it's a belt. That's about it.
Yeah, then I'll just while she leaves, I'll just do detect magic and just look.
Detect any magic on her.
Okay.
But do you vomit all over the place? Like, what happens?
No, I'm acting.
He's faking dry heaves at this point.
It's very similar.
He goes,
Yeah.
well, you seem fine for the moment. How about we get some fresh air above deck?
Oh God, fresh air.
Let's get some fresh air and some... Yes, fresh air sounds good.
Just make my way up on the deck.
She goes up above, dismisses the people up there. And he goes, "All right, you scurry lot, go and take a rest. Good job during the night." And a few of the crew members who were doing basically the night shift kind of head
Good job
downstairs.
avoiding the icebergs.
Yeah, all the icebergs, hundreds of icebergs, 100 years.
They remember to pack the binoculars.
I get it. I totally understand that. I love that I understand it.
I don't.
Neither do I.
Yeah, the Night's Watch on the Titanic didn't have any binoculars.
Oh.
They were, I believe.
It's not funny when you explain it.
Although hypothetically it wouldn't have helped because those are for spotting things far away and making them larger and not spotting things at night. So it probably wouldn't have done much. But that is neither here nor there. I can spend another hour talking about Titanic facts later.
China hadn't even been used yet. There was fresh paint still.
Mr.
didn't
Zorsashi, are you feeling better?
A little. Oh. I'm just gonna continue just trying, like start feeling a little, like acting like I'm feeling a little better, like the fresh air worked.
Well, she says, we'll be serving breakfast
Oh God.
in an hour.
Oh
I
God.
suggest you all maybe return to your quarters.
Oh, no. That's
till
that's where I got this. I can't look at those quarters right now. I'm just gonna stay here on the side of the ship. Near the ballista.
It is admittingly a little stuffy down there. The breeze up here is rather nice.
She goes.
May-
Rolling a 14. I really insist. If you wait below deck.
Mayhap you... I sort of...
She rolled a 14 in what? Intimidation per persuasion?
Persuasion.
Do you want me to roll against that, or just... How do you want me to react
However
to
you
it?
wanna. However you wanna react to that.
I will roll another deception check in response. Hide 14. I'm just gonna hold like one finger up, just like 1 second.
Mayhap... Mayhap you want to tell us why you
The
want us
mornings
to
when
stay
we
there.
do our chores, the deck's gonna be crowded. Don't want you to be uncomfortable.
I just need, oh God! I just need a few minutes. I'm just gonna just let it pass.
He says,
Now, I think...
very well.
Let me just... Yeah.
And the crew
Trying
begins to make their
I
way
was-
above deck. They start doing their chores. They're not necessarily grouped up like this, but
Yeah. Squad in the poop deck.
I was hoping to talk to her before the crew got up here, but
sure now.
I mean, we need to know what's going on. I'm not saying this to her. I'm talking this out in my head. Like, we need to figure out what's going on. So I'm trying to think. You know what?
Maybe we should just confront her with what we.
Yeah, maybe. You still got that? Still got that zone of truth?
I haven't used it yet.
Now would be the time.
Where?
Right around here.
Respect.
Now, do note that people will see me do something.
Oh, Right. Oh.
I tell you what, if you're really being this paranoid, I'll set it up downstairs just below, the next deck down, right at the end of the stairs, and then you lead her down there, and then be able to ask the questions. Okay?
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. Okay, well, you kind of signal that to it. I guess we kind of talked about this beforehand, or do we want to? Well then, okay. Madam, would you kindly help me get my compatriot down back downstairs?
She's saying this to the first mate.
Yes.
She snaps her fingers, points to a crew member. He goes, "Help this man downstairs. He's not well."
I would be more. Oh.
I'll
He
just.
goes, "This way. Follow me."
Thank you. How do you do this day in and day out and day in and day out? And, oh God. Let's keep up the deception.
Saying
Now, did Lemon already go downstairs and do this, or did Murook start the plan before putting the the cons
yeah, he
in
put it down
place?
there. Before going up, basically said, it'll be here for 10 minutes.
Cool.
But it's going to stay upstairs, because he doesn't need to be around for it to continue.
So, actually, that'd be a good idea. Zorsashi, why don't you ask that crewmate what... Like,
So-
since we can't get out of the first mate, let's see what the crewmate has to say.
You said you were helping bring him down, so come down with me. I'm going to need someone else down
Oh,
there.
yeah. Good point.
So if that's happening, then we're all gonna have to roll for being inside the zone of truth.
That would be
So
a
he's-
charisma saving throw of DC 14.
So he starts explaining to you, Zorsashi, about some tricks about dealing with seasickness. Saying, you just gotta picture a field, like you're in a green field. No movement at all. You just gotta convince yourself that that you're not moving, and then he goes, kind of pauses for a second, and his eyes kind of go out of focus for a split second, and he goes, oh, that's weird. I feel kind of funny.
So what's
Anyway.
so
Do you have seasickness?
Oh no, I got rid of that years ago. So yeah, I used a trick I just taught you about visualizing the field in your head. Now I like to envision a field with pretty pink flowers, because pink's my favorite color, you see. And just make you feel at ease, you know?
yes,
I mean, I tell everyone that. It's not a secret. Everyone knows pink's my favorite color.
pink is a very wonderful color. You have. Thank you for your candidness.
No, this is
The quick question: What's
Go on.
though? I do have a quick question though. While we're being so candid, it's just I've got this. There's this weird feeling I've got that something's going on this morning. So, can you maybe assuage my fears and tell me if there's anything going on? Or
Sway's a fancy
He
word.
goes, what do you mean going on?
I mean, I just get these feelings sometimes that something's on the wind, so to speak, and I just get this feeling that something's going on, and I just want just a little encouragement that I'm just kind of that there's nothing going on.
Very normal concern.
So, just so you know, Zone of Truth doesn't mean they need to tell you the truth.
Correct.
If they fail the DC, they cannot. Let's see. Until the spell
It means
ends.
they just can't lie to you. They can refuse not to answer.
Yes.
Right.
It specifically says an affected creature is aware of the spell and can thus avoid answering the questions. But if they do try to answer it, they have to tell the truth. So
So,
they can't
what do you
lie,
ask
but they
them?
can, like liar
Yeah,
lies.
so what do you
Yeah.
what do you ask them? Like, what's planned?
I ask him if there's anything going on that we need to know about.
He goes, "Oh, you deceptive landlubbers."
What are you talking about?
He looks around. It was that blonde one, wasn't it? Nothing concerns you. I suggest you stay below deck where it's safe.
Are you going to harm us?
We don't want to harm anyone.
But are you going to? Get closer.
I'm willing. He goes, I'm willing to.
Even me?
He says, the captain's a good man. I wouldn't want to hurt him.
Okay. What makes you say that?
Probably the zone of truth.
I read Birthday Parties can be quite different.
No, I mean,
He said he.
that's it. You specifically answered our question with the captain is a good man. Why do you think he's a good man?
He goes, saved our lives countless times in the high sea. Should have seen the weather he would brave. It's like a madman. The ice floe would take it. he would get us through it. One time, these fishermen from the sea attacked the ship. He fended them off. Fought bravely by our sides. I owe my life 10 times over.
I'm sensing a butt here.
What are you doing today? If it has nothing to do with us, I can tell you, look, I'm here too, truth be told. If it is not going to harm us, or hopefully anybody, we will stay out of your way, and we will not participate. All we want to know is that everybody's safe, specifically our party. Would I lie? And I'm going to roll a deception check.
Because this has nothing to do with your party.
Yeah, you didn't answer my question there.
What do you ask?
Is our party, what are you doing today? And I just want to know if our party is going to be safe. Just be honest and tell us what is going on, and then we can go back and forget all of this.
We won't hurt you unless you get in our way.
You're not telling us what's going on, though.
Mark.
No, go. I mean, I'm playing this. I would interrupt him like that. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, I was talking. I was about to say it.
Oh, go on then.
Sorry. He says, during today's plans. He's starting to look nervous.
So my deception check, what I was trying to do was say, I'm in the zone of truth. I'm going to tell you we won't get in your way if there's nothing wrong with this, and no harm will come of us. I'm obviously possibly lying, but I'm trying to assuage his fears of not telling me would be a bad thing.
Sally, Zyzzyx, and Lemon, what are you doing?
Standing around, listening to this.
Hey.
Right,
Eventually, Castisha knocks on the captain's quarters door. She goes, "Captain, you're needed on deck. We have a situation."
Very well. We hear her yell that and go, "Well, it looks like whatever happening is happening without us."
This is happening while you're doing that. You're not necessarily hearing this. The captain comes out.
Situation. What's going on?
He goes, "You know I like to sleep in on my first day of voyages. What's the matter?" He goes, "We used to have a few questions for you, Captain." He goes, "Proceed." And at this point, all of the bandits draw their swords.
Question. Lemon, quick question.
Dustin, please.
Okay. Sorry.
I know sorry. I know I pause sometimes. That doesn't mean that I'm done talking necessarily.
Sometimes it doesn't pick up a word or two on the volume on the microphone, so we think that you're actually just done talking. But yeah, this is a thing.
I say bandits because they just use that stat block, but they are the sailors.
Yeah, there's no. Go on.
They all draw their swords, and so does Castisha. And she says, "And we want you to tell the truth now." And Christoffin looks around. He goes, "What is the meaning of this?" Castisha slams her foot down on the dock, and you hear below deck. And the person you're interrogating looks up and attempts to escape.
I grapple him.
Give me a strength check.
Oh. That's not going to work out in his. Well, never mind. Apparently, I roll like crap.
If only you had that elixir.
You also rolled a save and not a check. But you rolled a nat 1.
Oh. Well, do you want me to just roll? Actually, I do need to roll it. Oh, that's still not much better.
So,
But yeah, I rolled the one he got away.
So.
Just-
No, he rolled a 1.
Oh.
So you grab him. And he says,
Okay.
"You don't want to be a part of this."
Did we hear him say, did we hear her say we want the truth from him?
Did you say?
At this point, you realize something's going on. And, you gotta hear her begin shouting at the captain. She says, "Captain, you've changed for the past few weeks. You're not yourself. Everyone on board feels it."
Can I? As she, since we hear him doing this, we start making our way up deck because this sounds like we need to be up there too.
Okay. So you basically grab the sailor.
I'm staying towards the bottom of the steps, but I want to be in earshot.
All right.
Start making your way up. He says, "Captain, you've changed. I don't know what happened. You're not the same man you were not 3 weeks ago. You're playing it safe, not venturing out beyond the seas of around Neverwinter. The entire crew was shocked you took on this contract. Take these adventurers to the Thundercliffs. Because it just seemed too dangerous for the new you."
Joey, I hate to interrupt. I really do. But I kind of wait. Does Lemon want 2 questions? 1, Lemon. Do you know something? That Elven Sign Language? Did you learn that?
That was me.
No, I don't. I took like 1 lesson. That was it.
Well, okay. Would you know enough to say when I go? Would you? I kind of motion that I want you, if you can, to move that zone of truth up here.
I don't believe it's movable.
Oh,
I can always recast it, I guess.
you could just say, "Hey, she asked for the truth."
We'll sleight of hand.
He'll just give a little nod in your direction with when you do whatever the weird hand gestures are.
Right, that I'm done.
Yep. Sorry, Joey.
She just says, "I know something happened. Something happened to you when you're on those isles. It's what she mentioned earlier. You saw it on the map, Zyzzyx, so I can't find a name for it right now. And after that, you changed."
The Moonshay Isles.
Yes.
Okay.
"And we don't think you're fit to run this ship anymore." He's not saying a word, he's just glaring at her.
Point of order.
It is
Is he in the zone of truth area, or are we just saying that that's just staying?
I haven't done anything yet.
No, the zone of truth is still there, but I'm just asking you, does the zone of truth go through the deck?
It would for like a square or something, and he's not in it.
Okay.
He wouldn't have been affected by his initial cast.
No, it's when you
Although
enter
you
it,
walk
I
in-
believe.
I'll
Yeah.
say when he entered it.
Yeah, that's why I was curious.
This is a big ship. I don't think it would have reached all the way up.
That's fine.
15, 15 radius.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought of that earlier too. So
Cool.
it's a
Okay,
big
cool.
ship. Big tall ship. He's just glaring at her. He goes, "I understand your concern. I'm just looking out for the welfare of the ship and my crew. Now, I'm willing to overlook this foolishness if everyone just gets back to work and perform your duties. We're being paid good money to escort these people to the and he gets interrupted. Say, we don't care about the Thundercliffs, and we know what's there. Talks of cults, thunder gods. Just like when we ran into that storm in the Isles. You were a different person after that. Just tell us. What changed?
I nod at Lemon right now. If he can do anything with that zone of truth, do it now.
I don't think I can move it, but it is not concentration, so I'll just cast it again. I'd like to do sleight of hand to make it so I'm not obviously casting something. My eyes are kind of drawn away from me anyway.
Pay attention to you. He's looking at first mate. And that's good enough.
Okay, another zone of truth right on the captain.
Was it a con?
Wisdom.
No, charisma.
Charisma.
DC 14.
Oh, I'll move the little guy.
Oh, so that means we get a roll too. Hold on.
That's gonna hit everybody in there.
Just Tisha basically blurts out the second you cast that. Just admit you joined the cult of Talos. Admit it. And Christophin, eyes blink, and he turns to you, Lemon. And he goes, "You dare try to deceive me? After I took you on my ship?"
I have no intention of deceiving anyone.
That's what the cone of truth is for.
Use magic against me? I have the right mind to throw you overboard this instant.
At that point, I step up the stairs and I notice you haven't answered the question yet, Captain.
Yeah, that is a very interesting point that you've not answered the question. Are you, sir, a member of the cult of Talos?
He goes, "No,
That
I
was
turn
easy.
to look at
foolishness."
Lemon.
Okay.
You know he failed. He passed the check. Sorry, I should have told you.
Oh, well, I don't actually. Well, you do know that we're going there to.
I mean, you know if someone succeeds, if someone fails the check, so you should know if someone succeeds it, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know both. You know,
And
I
he
mean,
knows
if you
you
didn't
cast
get a
it on.
ping one way, you're gonna know the other way.
Oh, okay. Well,
Kestisha, who did fail, doesn't really seem to notice it. She says, "I saw the pendant, the trident pendant, in your quarters. Don't deny it."
That's what the pin was.
Oh.
Christophin goes, "It's a trinket. Place these men below deck. Make sure they don't leave until we get to the Thundercliffs. I'll still fulfill my duty."
I mean, where are we gonna go? I just whispered to Murook.
hopefully not.
But no one is.
No one's.
No one is.
We're not.
No
we're
one's
just.
moving to. No, I'm saying no one's trying to get you.
now, Captain, you giving you the benefit of the doubt. You do know that we are going there to destroy the cult. Yes.
Of course, I knew that.
and you have no problems whatsoever with us getting there without without any problems, and in no way informing them in advance that we're arriving.
He goes, he would say something like, it's like, I know what your mission was, and I'm taking you there, despite the foolish danger. But I want you to give me a perception.
Okay. It also says that at the start of a turn, if they're in it, they can still do it. So he can always fail again. Just a second.
Oh yeah, it doesn't say that.
It's when entering or starting their turn within it.
Yeah, it didn't say they're. I thought they would be immune to it after they fail or pass.
No.
I guess it doesn't say that.
I just spotted it. 17.
I'm sorry, give me an insight check. We just added to that roll. What's your insight bonus?
Same thing.
Okay. He looks like he's telling the truth, but he's definitely irritated. The first mate goes, "This doesn't concern you. Either step out of the way or detain him."
It does concern us if it does involve the Cult of Talos, because that's our whole point of being here. So, if you're accusing... So, let me ask you a question. Are you a member of the Cult of Talos? I'm asking this of...
Point. Everyone's gonna roll again. She succeeds. He succeeds. In her eyes, kind of blink again. She goes, "No, but the captain is. I know it."
Okay, so... Let me just walk through this so I know it's clear. You think that he is a member of the Cult of Talos, and yet he's taking us to a major bastion
In the
point
back.
for the Cult of Talos.
He'll stab you in the back, I guarantee it.
Okay. Of course, they may want us to come there anyways, as part of their plans. So...
Finn just goes, "My friend, you're talking in circles.
Yes, I know that now.
I
And
want
it's-
you to lock her into your quarters. And anyone else who refuses to obey my orders will meet the same fate. We can make our way to the Thundercliffs without you."
Sally become first mate.
Cassina
Oh.
goes, You don't want to do that. And she readies her rapier. "We'll go
Okay.
through you if we need to."
Wait. I'm sure that there's a way to do this without bloodshed. Now, Captain.
I'll give you one chance to disarm this situation.
Captain, from everything that I can sense, you are telling the truth. But nobody here currently has the ability to believe you. So you may have to, unless you, to avoid a mutiny, I would highly suggest giving doing a gesture of good faith, and perhaps step aside for this mission to show that you are not in alignment with who we're going to go and face.
He just blatantly says, I refuse to give up command of this vessel. My ship. He raises his weapon.
All right, I just need to ask one more question. And
Are you happy with your long-term healthcare provider?
Because he
I'd
might
like to
need it.
switch wireless services.
Car insurance.
First mate just goes, kind of nervously, sorry, Captain. And everyone's going to roll initiative.
I already rolled mine.
Well, it's decent.
Sally is already eager to shove everyone into the ocean.
Oh, well, this didn't go to plan. Like every single one of our other plans.
We could have fought from the very beginning.
I'm also going to roll a charisma save because I stepped into the new zone of truth. And I just failed it, so I will have to tell the truth. I will have to not lie.
And just so you know, the one downstairs is still going on. They're not concentration.
Oh, you're right.
Can you do more than one at one, though?
It doesn't say anything about disabling the previous one. So I could do as many zones as I want to. I don't want to anymore, though.
Technically, Murook was holding him. Alright.
Oh, then we just... Well, I mean, why'd you move it over there? It's still...
You needed to roll Christopherson's thing. Put it on the bottom of the token layer. Move to back.
I mean, if you put it on him, then we give him a radius.
I don't think anybody is going to be telling truths or lies in the next few minutes, anyway.
Well,
Now-
we could still try to... I'm still trying to figure out what side we need to be on.
Yeah. Are you still hugging that guy?
You know what? Yeah, I've still got him grappled.
You want to let go if you don't want to look like an accomplice.
This guy likes pink.
I'd say to the guy, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell's going on here.
She runs up to Christophen.
Oh, she's up first.
I thought I'm up first.
Yeah. No, Sally's up first.
Sorry, I didn't do the...
Oh, and my initiative didn't get added. I got a 19 for the thing, so I got it. So you'll have to put me. Do I go before or after Castatasha? My dexterity is +2.
Before.
Okay.
Sally, what do you do?
Who's the bad guy here?
We don't know.
With Sally, it's hard to tell.
Yeah. That's a very relative question to Sally.
Either the really cool guy or the lady. If I hit the cool guy, I'm on the lady's side, and the lady, if I hit her, all the other bad guys are going to attack me.
I feel like anybody who isn't her, who she considers an uncle, is an enemy.
Huh.
You could roll intent and look at, and then make your judgment from there.
Roll a coin.
You roll a coin, it's going to scroll all the way over to the other side of the room.
All right.
Yeah, come back here.
So from here, with my thunder wave, it's 15 feet around me, so that means I would hurt all of my friends. I don't want to do that.
That's
see
debatable sometimes.
Can I try to grapple the dragon man? Because I don't want to hurt him too much.
Yeah. Give me a strength check. Or a strength roll. You just got him.
Right. And then
So he is grappled.
While I'm grappling, can I move him over, like down below deck, and lock him in the room that he wanted to lock the first mate into, or like try to at least get him that way?
Believe Mark, you can move people when they're grappled, right?
You can. It's double movement to move both of you at once, and it's however you want to handle like pivoting people and moving them to the other side of you. It's up to you.
Yeah, so you can basically like rough terrain, so 15 feet.
I can get him down the stairs, right?
Yeah.
Where did you start?
I started right next to Zyzzyx. I moved over to where I currently am, grappled the man, and then I want to try to get downstairs. And as close as I can to the, to our cabin.
No, you had to move around a lot of people, including an enemy.
I don't think you have any movement left.
Oh yeah, not taking into account you getting there in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you haven't grappled.
Alright.
And don't forget, this guy's grappled too, Joe, if you want to mark him.
Yeah. First mate goes, "So you believe me, little one?"
She looks at her with her cold dead eyes and somehow tells her that we girls got to stick together.
What
She
are the
understands
odds?
that completely. Zorsashi, do you do anything?
Zyzzyx just added himself to the thing, so you want to make sure he's in the right spot.
My first one didn't get on there.
Yeah, I had forgotten to click the my token to do it as well. It's been a while.
Yep.
So yes, I am going to do the only thing I can think of that will stall this. If I'm lucky, I'm going to take out of my inventory.
The immovable rod.
Yeah, I hook it on the back of the captain, and I say, "Well, off you go." No. I'm going to take a feather quill that I have, and I'm going to cast darkness on the feather quill. I know you hate this, Joey, but I'm doing it to be pacifist.
Yeah, no, you're probably going to dislike what the results would be for that if Joey's thinking what I'm thinking.
Let's see. I cast it on an object I'm holding, so it's basically like the light spell where it stays on the object.
Oh, cheater!
Yeah, that's why I cast it on an object and not the ship. I mean, technically the ship is an object, but still.
Darkness. And then 5 seconds later, it blows away and it just passes behind the ship.
So let me tell you what I'm going to do with this, Joey. After I set up the token, the aura, 15-foot spear.
Just the same goblin, pretty much.
Yeah, I am going to run through Sally and get next to the captain, because I can see in all of this darkness, and I'm going to put, if you will let me, the quill in somewhere on his body, through his armor, through his whatever, while he is grappled and blinded. So it is stuck on him.
Give me a sleight of hand at advantage.
Yeah, I'll take it. Sleight of hand. No, not bad. I'll take it. Come on. Yes! Dirty 20.
20. As he's struggling against Sally, you slip it in his pocket.
I'll whisper at Sally as I go by, "Don't let go." And I am going to... is the captain's door open?
You're able to get in, yeah.
Oh, you're right. That's like a little hallway to it. So it took me 5, 10, probably I'll say 15 to get there just because I had to maneuver around stuff. 20, 25, 30, and I am heading towards the captain's room. Fast as I can. Let me see if I have any bonus actions. None that I really want to do. Actually, you know what? I will do one bonus action. I will Hexblade Curse Kashitasha. So she now has my non-hex curse on her.
Okay.
So just mark her. And that'll be my turn.
Murook, what do you do?
Is the Zone of Truth still up?
Yes.
Wait, did he have to roll? Is he still under that successful save?
Yeah, at the top.
It looks like while you're inside the thing, you can do it. I actually looked it up before we started combat, and it's ambiguous, like on purpose. So I will say DM's discretion.
So
I don't say if you're in it, then it's not like it's pulsing, you know. But that's what I said.
So he was not inclined to tell the truth right now.
Just for simplicity's, yeah, just like once you enter it, you roll, and that's it.
He saved both his checks.
Could have hexed him and give him disadvantage on it.
Not that you can see.
That probably would have been a save then.
Very well.
You were also blinded, Murook, by the way.
Yeah. So the entire area just filled with darkness.
I'm like, well, I know that I'm standing. I know that I'm standing right next to him and Sally, and I've still got this guy grappled with me. So not much I can do. I say to the captain, I ask you one last time: are you a member or ally of the Cult of Talos?
Have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
Supposed to ask the other statue which way they would go.
Says again, he just says, "Go to hell. I want you off my ship. What happened to the lights?"
It was daytime out. Who turned out the lights?
Well, I turn to this guy and say, I turn to the guy I've got grappled and I say, do as you will, and I release him.
Oh no!
You accidentally, drop him down the stairs.
He goes, "I can't see anything."
And you know he's telling the truth.
Yes. And there's not really much I can do because I don't want to attack him at this time. But
you also can't see anything.
You can
well,
maybe ready an
darkness.
action for if someone attacks you.
But here's the thing. I know. Well, I just heard him say "go to hell" right next to me, so I know. I have a pretty good idea that he is right next to me. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it would be yeah.
So is Sally.
So is Sally.
You know what? I'm gonna retcon that slightly. He's not angry at you per se, but he says, "You heard my answer."
That works.
It's
But
a
one
non-answer.
bandit, one bandit, keep saying bandit. One crew member comes up to you, Zyzzyx, and kind of grabs your shoulder and go, "Will you come with me? We're just gonna get you out of harm's way."
King's bodyguard.
I need to stick with my team.
I insist. Just stay out. Just move out of the way. Ask your friend to remove whatever spell he cast.
I think I'll go with you, but I don't think there's any. I think we're gonna keep that up. It's for everyone's safety here to avoid.
We need to. He says we need to restrain the captain. This isn't helping.
I believe the
Really?
captain is already restrained.
Well, I mean, we need to remove the captain. This isn't helping.
I think that this is preventing any more. This is preventing you guys from being able to attack him. So I think that we're good here while we get to the bottom of what's going on.
We just want to restrain him.
Now, why do you think
We're gonna-
that he's in the cult?
Okay, so this is combat, so we're not having a conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Necessarily.
Fair
But
enough.
he just says,
Attack.
Right.
we don't want to hurt the captain. We're just gonna put him on one of these rowboats, send him to the shore. Technically, it's all of the bandits' turn.
Yeah.
Sailors' turns.
Well, I'm not gonna have him. I'm not gonna ask him to drop it. I'm telling that to him and you, Joey. That is mine. So, however that happens, whatever that decision has consequences, that's what the decision.
He goes, I'm sorry. And he raises his scimitar at you.
What a
Says,
jerk.
please, just move out of the way. He's just asking you to move.
Okay, that I will.
So yeah.
Not in your way.
It's a trick. He got you to burn your reaction.
Marches into the darkness.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Somebody's run down. Halfway tripping on the stairs. This one comes right up next to Christoph and he goes, "Little one, remove the captain." He's asking Sally to let him go.
Sally says no, but she can't speak. So she shakes her head, but they can't see.
You can't see anything.
Mhm.
Oh, can she hit the button?
No, luckily she can't. She doesn't know where the button is in the dark.
She hits the button for the swear, and it goes auga.
I messed the game up for everyone.
Yeah, I hate the spell mark.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
she
specifically doing it this time to keep it pacifist as much as I can. So I'm not trying to screw with you, Joe.
Yeah, this is
First
this
mate
one
goes-
time.
The first mate goes, Get that automaton off the captain." And
She's
Does the
pointing in
18
like
hit
north
you?
instead of towards her.
does a 18 hit you, Sally?
18 does not hit me.
So you try to, if you're grappling, does that mean you can't use your shield?
No, the shield is still attached to you, which is the thing. Even if you're knocked unconscious, your shield is still part of your armor. It's a bit of a weird thing, but it's a mechanical.
so-
uh,
He
trade-off.
he tries to push you away, Sally, but you don't move.
Stumbles down the stairs and breaks his neck.
Disadvantage, by the way, Joey, on attacks.
I did.
Okay, cool. Damn, still got 18.
I should have kept my enhanced shield to get that 20 AC. I was a fool.
They can't see anyone else. Lemon, what do you do?
Zorsashi, that isn't helping.
I need 12 seconds!
Not your turn to speak.
Reaction.
Just shouts into the darkness at him while just gonna move over slightly and just grab the railing so not completely blind while the ship's rocking. And since overhears everybody trying to get the captain away from Sally, he'll also call out, "Sally, let him go." And just hopes that all of the holding action for the rest of it, though.
The one sailor does walk up to you. He goes, "Don't want to hurt you. Just stay where you are."
Understood.
Okay. Zyzzyx, do you do anything?
I had a plan, but now I can't see anything. So
Sorry. I'm just really happy I rolled a 19 for initiative.
that you are.
I rolled a 26.
I know, I was super scared.
No, I'm not. No, not right now. I will do. No. Done.
Not turning into a giant snake on a boat.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a dolphin.
You know what? I am readying an action. If I see any of my friends get thrown overboard, I am going to cast Water Walk on them.
Oh, that's gonna hurt because it's like 15 feet up. Ouch.
Well, sorry. So that's what my action is readied. If I see any of them get tossed overboard.
So Sally, you feel coldness wash over you.
Oh.
You realize he's inhaling, and out from his mouth comes just a breath of ice and cold and fog. I want you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Dragonborn. It's probably a disadvantage because you can't see.
Actually,
It's right in front of you. It's right in front of you, though.
can you make a dex throw while you're holding the person doing it?
Or can you make the dex throw to turn him around so he's not pointing towards you?
So this is all going to be up to Joey. First off, they're not actually blinded; they are effectively blinded, which means whatever you want it to mean.
He knows where you are. You're right.
Their
you're
visual
holding
range is
it.
zero.
It's the dodge that I'm wondering about. But she rolled a 7
Got a
anyway,
dex-
so
Got a roll dex save of 7.
Oh, this is
So you
probably
rolled
gonna
a
hurt.
7. As the ice breath hit you, you take 23 cold damage,
Oof.
and I'm going to say you let go of your grip. But also, some of the bandits in front of him just fall over dead.
yeah.
And as they fall, parts of their limbs fall off because they've been frozen.
Wait, do I need to make a dex saving throw?
You just narrowly avoid the cone.
Huzzah!
So,
Help them.
but like you feel it, you know, you feel the coldness rush by you. It's like the coldest thing you've ever felt. Not since
Oh.
Cryovane that you felt something like that.
Oh, that's not good.
And he goes, "If it has to be this way." And from
Don't forget to roll. Don't forget to roll that charisma saving throw.
No, we're just doing it
Decided.
once.
Oh,
But he says, "Well, let us be finished."
great.
And you hear the dark, but from the on the deck, you see some of the dust and debris start to kind of move around like a whirlwind, faster and faster and faster. And in the place, 2 air elementals appear on the deck. One on either side.
You could have been sailing fast this whole time.
He says, "You're right. I did learn a few tricks. And great power. You're also right. I made a new lord." Sally, your turn.
I believed him.
I believed him too.
Well, there we go. Oh, all right then.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit. I heard he made a new lord, and then everything started bubbling up for a second.
That's all I think.
It was just the team, all of us saying that we believed him.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're surprised.
Also,
My doubt. I even expressed them on land that I had doubts about it.
Sally, your turn.
All right. I'm gonna try grappling him again, and then I want to try to throw him overboard.
Yeah, do it at disadvantage.
I know he's right in front of me.
You still can't see.
shove action.
Can't see anything. I mean, all he had to do was point in your direction.
But he rolled an 8, it looks like.
He rolled a 9.
Oh, yeah, a little better.
Alright, so it's a strength check I gotta do, right?
Athletics or athletics for you.
I want to try to grapple him and so I can shove him overboard.
Oh, I thought you rolled an 8.
I didn't roll an 8.
I thought someone said it. Roll.
I did. I thought you had rolled it on the chat.
So you managed to grab him again.
Yeah! And so I want to try to throw him overboard where my button is.
You can move there. Can't throw him.
Right, I want to move over there with him more close to the edge than me.
Take a couple steps forward.
Can I go off the edge with him? Because I have a ring of water walking on, I won't.
I don't think you have the movement. That's the thing.
Well, if I have to see you go over.
No, she has ring of water walk.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
If I have the movement to go overboard, I'd love to go over him with him.
All right, keep walking, but he's gonna. Doesn't mean he's gonna automatically let himself be pushed over. So give me another strength check. Disadvantage.
And then I would like to. Actually, no. Those should work, right?
What's that?
Those rolls work, right?
He rolled a 7. You push him over.
Yeah. Do I go with him?
Pin goes flying. Give me a. Well, if you're saying you're just walking, then yeah, you do. If you don't try to stop.
I got water walking.
Thing. Why don't you take 1d8? Sound good, Mark?
It's 1d6 per 10 feet of things, so you're probably I'd say 1d6.
Take 6 damage as you hit the water.
Might as well have been a 1d8.
And you're both overboard.
The darkness is still on him as long as the quill is on him. I lost my quill.
Let's say the quill fell out.
Fair enough.
The ship goes away from us, far, far away.
Yeah, Sally, you're gonna be left behind. Tisha, just notices the darkness move, but also notices the wind elemental.
Did Christoffin take any damage from that?
Oh, you're right. You should have.
Let's get that.
2 damage.
And I assume that, he's concentrating on these elementals.
Getting pretty far away from them.
No.
Summon them. That would have been amazing, though. He just hits the water, takes 2 points of damage, and then drops the
Yeah.
elementals.
You'd have to do a concentration. She's gonna run up to 1.
Hey, just imagine. Hey, just imagine being able to destroy all of a lich's plans by hitting him in the head with a rock.
I mean, stranger things have happened.
Yeah. But those
She
are
hits
great
this elemental.
stories.
Takes some damage, but it's hard to hurt air. Okay. Zorsashi, what do you do?
So I imagine I am running full steam towards the door, so I will head there. I will look back to see, just as just before I open the door, that everything goes overboard, and depending if this door is open, is this an open area under the stairs? Would I be able to see the elemental?
Yeah, he sees the door.
I'd be like, well, that explains that, and I will head another 20 feet this way. Bonus action to teleport next to the person I have hexblade, or I have cursed. This time not being Zyzzyx.
I'm very jealous.
And I will... Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to stay where I am at the edge of this, and I'm just going to go, because they're wind elementals, like, I'm not going to throw a sword through them. So I'm just going to go ahead and give them 2 Eldritch Blasts. Right at the elemental. First one is going to be a 14.
Miss.
Second one is going to be a natural 20. That'll make up for the first one. Oh, double ones!
What kind of damage
Double
is that?
ones!
I have a question.
What
Is
kind
it
of
too late
damage
to go back?
is that?
It's force, so it's not immune.
I have a question. Is it too late for me to retcon something?
Tell me what it is.
Yeah.
You walked off. You walked off the ship. What are you trying to do?
Break it up a bit, Chris.
Putting boots and teleport back onto the deck. Like, just be retconning. Sorry about interrupting.
I didn't hear anything you said.
Break it up.
we'll
Chris,
wait
it's not coming through. Type
All
it.
right.
Type it.
We'll wait till your turn. This elemental gonna come up right in the middle of this group of bandits. Technically, she's gonna get an attack of opportunity. Breaker. 9 misses. He starts
No.
spinning around faster. Sorry.
I'm just gonna say I dropped concentration on the quill when I saw it go overboard. Or on the darkness, so not gonna matter, but I'll just say that I'm not concentrating it anymore.
Okay.
So he walks into this group of sailors. He starts to spin around faster and faster, and the group all fly overboard.
What Chris tried to ask was if they can retcon using their bonus action to use their teleporting boots to get back onto the deck after they fall in the water.
If I can't do that, that's perfectly fine. I'll stay in the water.
Does it have to... Read me what the boots does, because you fell through air.
It's a 15-foot range.
It just lets you teleport back to where you were?
As long as it was... Actually, no, I can't do that, because I don't see the deck from down below. Never mind.
Yeah.
No, I can't do that.
Oh, also
it's-
falling
it's-
distance.
Aim for the nets on the edge of the thing when you can.
Give me a dexterity saving throw. Sally.
Okay, so
Oh, alright. Dex save.
And we'll see if you do it right as you start falling. Oh, but it's in darkness. It wouldn't have
yeah,
mattered.
the darkness is still there.
You
Alright.
fall in. Sorry.
Alright, no worries. Yeah, I'll do it. It was just a thought in my head because I forgot I had the boots on still.
I asked you if you just wanted to walk. So
I wanted to make sure I wanted to make sure the captain was in the water.
Mhm.
okay. Murook.
I have a bad feeling that going near these things in melee is a bad idea, so I kind of angle myself so I'm over here, and then I cast Chromatic Orb. However, I'm going to use my inspiration to cast it at advantage. I think I can do that, right?
Yeah. Can you?
Let me see here. Read the rules. Inspiration.
Sorry, it's getting to the
Inspiration.
point where you have so many abilities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Inspiration
I
goes
can.
on any D20 roll. Any D20 roll.
Yes.
Oh, inspiration? Yeah, any roll. Sorry, I thought you had some ability.
No, I'm just using my inspiration.
Yeah, do it advantage.
There's a 17 hit.
17 hits.
Yeah, it takes 12 poison damage.
He does not. The poison just goes into his body, swirls around a bit, it just turns into mist.
Forgot elementals don't man.
They
Why
don't
did I pick
breathe.
poison?
They have
Damn
such-
it!
They have such wonderful immunities.
I could have picked any of. I could have picked. Hell, I could have picked thunder. Something I know would have worked well against them. It would have been better than poison.
Okay, so you're in luck, Sally. Some of the sailors go, man overboard, little girl overboard.
Yay!
I just
my
thought of this, I don't know why I
inspiration.
didn't think of this before. And these two right here, throw down a rope. I want you to make a either athletics or acrobatics. Try to grab onto it.
I will do athletics.
Okay, while we're.
Natural 1. Oh, that was 7. It was a 7.
I said 10 or
I can use
above, grab it.
I can use Flash of Genius to give me plus 3 to that.
I recommend you do.
Yeah, I will do that. Flash of Genius to make it an 11.
Okay, they pull you up. Prasofin makes a swipe at you as you climb up. Misses though.
Joey, one last question. I'll be quiet. After that astounding failure on my part, do you want me to roll the d20 for my to see if I do a mild magic surge.
Go for it.
Alright. We are looking for a 4. Yep! We hit it.
What happens?
Finally.
We are finally rolling the big dice, folks.
Yeah.
Ladies, it is now time for a wild magic surge.
I think this is the first time you've ever hit wild magic.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Boy.
the 1. 1 or 2.
Remember we had that rule. We had that rule. Each time I failed, it increased the DC.
Fireball.
Wait,
Fireball.
Okay, wait, that's the wrong. Wait, ignore that. That's the wrong one.
A D100, unless you have another table.
Yeah, that's the wrong table. That's the wrong.
Remember, we're just doing the
Oh,
normal one.
D100.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, 44.
Well, quiver. What happened?
Well,
Like me to read it?
okay.
I have it up.
Now let me see what's pretty.
All right.
Are you a petunia?
I kind of start vibrating and I kind of start vibrating in place. It looks like I'm kind of there, but I'm kind of not. So, but for the next minute, I can teleport up to 20 feet as a bonus action.
I just want to point
It's
out
kinda
you were one above turning into a potted plant.
Yeah, we were very, yeah.
So
Aw.
this is kind of like the other when you rage, basically.
Yeah, I almost hit the stereotypical wild magic one. Almost. Like,
Okay, keep going,
So-
Joey, because we're getting a little late.
okay, well, yeah.
Sorry, I should have been doing all these at the same time.
So I just teleport 20 feet. I don't know what that is. The 20 feet. Well, that's actually worse than the one I get.
It's 4 squares.
Yeah. That's actually worse than the one I get with wild magic. With my barbarian wild magic.
He's got very strong. Lemon, your turn.
Is he restraining me in any way?
No, it's not.
Can I essentially use my bonus action to pull something out of my pack?
Yeah,
Okay. I am going to pull out 50 feet of hempen rope, hand him an end, and say, tie this off, and go running off towards this.
are you holding on to it?
I'm holding off on one end, and I gave the sailor next to me the other end.
Okay.
Going in for an attack or 2.
Team misses, 20 hits.
And this is with a magical weapon. A bludgeoning 13.
Alright.
Did it look like the sailors did anything to it?
A little bit. Those that didn't do much.
They breathed in all the poison.
Yeah.
I said I was sorry.
This one does a similar thing. Swirls around really fast. Throws 2 more overboard. Zyzzyx.
Alright. I am going to summon an elemental of my own.
Bears are not elementals.
And, let's see.
But think rock, paper, scissors. What beats wind?
Well,
Not
I'm going in
poison.
the other direction.
Not poison. I can tell you that much. I would also caution against lightning or thunder,
Well,
or another wind elemental, essentially.
yeah, I'm gonna do an earth elemental here.
Okay.
I would say a water elemental would probably be at home here.
Yeah, they all just do bashing damage or bludgeoning. The only one that does something different is fire, and I don't want that here.
We also don't want the one that could, if you lose control of it, can follow us through the water.
Good point.
Let me so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do is the elemental, and I'm gonna summon it over here on this one. He's not that hurt. He should be at 60.
Oh, what type is this?
Earth.
His elementals are bigger.
Yes, they are. And
They
I'm gonna
can't
move.
attack, I think, right after you. So
Yeah, and I'm gonna move. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna move over here, and then it's gonna be his turn, and he is going to attack. And this is bludgeoning damage to that elemental in front of him. He gets 2 attacks. A 20 and a 15.
hit.
Right, for 13 and 5 bludgeoning.
Those magical.
We have determined that it is not necessarily magical damage.
Okay.
Yeah, we had that discussion before, I think.
That's concentration. Right. As he's flown away, Chrysophan's going to attempt to grab onto the side of the ship. With his sharp claws, he's able to get a good hold. He is currently climbing his way up the ship around here. But he can't quite make it all the way up. He's like halfway. Right, Sally.
Alright, I wish to cast Levitate on the captain and move him 20 feet away from the boat.
Constitution?
Right around here.
Love it.
You have to see him?
Let's hear. A creature of my choice within range.
You can see.
Um,
Range is 60 feet.
If you basically go to the edge of the ship, you can look over to see him.
so what I saw right here, I thought, like,
I'd imagine she was watching him the whole time.
yeah.
She's
He
obsessive with that.
succeeds.
Yeah. You
But
succeeded?
He succeeds.
Ah.
He's able to hang on as his body kind of tries to fly away.
Oh,
hate to
that
see
was
it.
so good.
Damn it.
First make his mortar. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Could I use an inspiration and somehow make that not happen?
No.
No, it only adds to your d20s.
Damn it.
Try next turn.
Can I do an anti-flash of genius to make his thing go down?
Say you're not very good. Katisha goes, says, it's like you're no match against these elementals. Retreat. And I was going to say the remaining bandits all retreat, like dash towards the bows of the ship.
They all jump overboard in panic.
Yep. Not her though. She's gonna rush this one. Dagger, rapier. We all hit. 3. -3. -6. Okay, Zorsashi.
Alright, focused on him and not able to see the captain, and I'm not worried about the captain. I'm going to go ahead and actually 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I can teleport right next to what's-her-face here, because she has got my curse. I will run around the other side of this, and I'm just going to go ahead and straight up use my pack weapon attack, my katana, with green flame blade. Say 17 hits.
It does.
It will be doing a total of, doesn't get the 11, so it only gets the 16 magical, 13 magical slashing, and then 3 fire damage. And so ignore that 11.
Was that 16?
16
slashing?
total, yeah. 13 slashing, 3 fire, 16 total. All magical.
Fire's good.
And
Alright, he's looking a little more transparent than he did.
yes. Let's see if I have any bonus actions. Because I really should just attack him twice instead of doing the fire, but gotta remember that. Yeah, that'll be all for now.
Alright. The elemental near you. He moves into you. You're kind of inside this elemental. Lemon, you can do an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
Nice.
Ooh, 15. It's for Sashi. I want you, as he starts to spin around, faster and faster.
Mission to Mars.
Roll a DC strength saving throw.
Strength save, which is my worst. 8.
Okay. This is gonna be fun.
Go for it.
First of all, you take 13 bludgeoning damage as you're being tossed around.
Okay.
And
Throw him in a random
throws
direction.
you into a random direction.
Yay! Oof.
4, 5, 20 feet.
Oof.
Better hope he throws you west.
Well, if it's
Into
going
the
clockwise around the top, yeah, I'm going right over that.
You're flung into the ocean, take an additional 4 damage as you hit the ocean water.
Okay.
Oh look, sharks.
Yay. Rook.
Well, he didn't take an attack on me, so can't use that as a reaction.
Hey, run up. I just after that dumbass display of trying to poison an air elemental, I decide, screw it, and I'm just gonna whack him. And I run up to him, and as I do so, I use my bonus action to rage.
Rage.
So, yes, we're rolling another. Where's my rage? Up there it is. And as such, we get to roll the small table, and we roll a 4, which is my weapon now does. My axe starts glowing, and damage changes to force, and if I throw it, it comes back to me.
You want to not run up to him?
Actually, that's probably good. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to move back. I'm going to do my rage first. Then I'm going to decide not to move since I can just throw it. I'm going to throw it at him.
You know what, Mark? You gotta take more damage.
What is that?
Because it says every 10 feet thrown. You were thrown 20 feet.
Oh,
and
because
fell down.
you're treating it like I hit a wall. Gotcha. So how much more?
Yep. Take 9 more damage.
Well, 2d6 for every 10 feet because you went 20 feet.
I'm guessing a 14 doesn't hit.
Basically, I'm doing like 10 feet down, basically. So,
Oh, okay. Alright.
or 15. Okay.
I'll take the 9, it's fine.
The 14 does not hit.
Alright, I'm going to get him again. $15.
15 hits.
Alright. He takes 8 damage, apparently.
Starting to fall apart a little bit. Parts of him are kind of floating away. He tries to maintain his form.
Alright, and I'm just going to stay where I'm at.
Let's say one of the sailors is a little slow of retreating. Sees that Zorsashi got thrown overboard. He's gonna let out a rope that you can try and grab. You pass by it on your turn.
Okay.
Let me on your turn.
Just to check, before they ran away, did that one person end up tying the rope up like I asked?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, do you want to stay there?
No, it's just basically like a
Wait.
that way I'd have something attached to the ship for if I do get thrown away like the other guys.
Smart. The 16 hits.
Ooh,
As your
that's damage.
maul, as your maul goes through this elemental, it just explodes in a explosion of smoke and dissipates.
Woo!
You did it.
And I'll check to see if Zorsashi's okay over the edge. He's fine.
He's been Tiefling overboard.
Gonna make 2 slam attacks against this other elemental.
Alright.
It's a 13 hit.
Yes. Wait, 11 plus the level of the spell, which was level 4. No, it does not.
Okay, but 16 will hit.
16 will hit.
Takes 18 bludgeoning damage.
18 bludgeoning.
He goes. I guess he's not wind. I was gonna say he goes, little elemental, like a baby.
Why must we fight? We are one and the same.
Why must brother fight brother? Zyzzyx.
Alright, Zyzzyx is going to go here to see Zorsashi, and I'm going to cast Water Walk just in case we need it. Zorsashi might need help. I can do this to. Oh no, I can't because that's concentration.
Don't worry, I'm
No,
good.
it's not. No, it's not. It's not.
I'm waving you back. I
Well,
got this.
I want to do it on everyone just in case something goes down, and I can do it in terms of 10 people. So I'm gonna include you. And I was wrong. It's not concentration. So 10 willing creatures I can see within range. Oh shoot, never mind. The range is only 30.
He'll be fine.
Cool.
Remember what he likes to do to you.
But I guess that's true. But I don't have anything else to do with myself.
You have an elemental and dragon guy. That's what you can do.
Well, no, but that's the elemental's turn.
You can attack too.
Push him overboard.
Yeah, tell the elemental to push him overboard. You can see the captain.
Alright,
You can
so
still.
I am going to
you can still do
go
action.
to here. Yeah, but I don't have much, and I don't want to use a. We're winding down. I am going to Thorn Whip on the elemental for a 25.
Nice.
And that is 11 piercing damage. And again, I don't think that it's necessarily magic.
It is magical, yes. It's a spell.
Okay. Okay. And then that is going to be, and I can pull him if I want to, but I don't want to, so I'm going to leave him where he is.
Actually, I don't think you can pull the air elemental anyways.
Probably, if it's large or smaller, I can pull it.
It is large,
Only
so you can pull
restricted.
it.
And then, so that is Zyzzyx's turn, and then the Earth Elemental is going to turn to the Dragony Captain and start beating on him for 2 hits. An 18 and a 15.
That's a lot of them.
18 hits.
Okay. That is 10 bludgeoning damage.
Thieves manages to stay on. Yep, he takes the hit right in the face. But he manages to
I've got elementals too.
rip. Yeah. But he will get back on the deck. Doesn't get his weapon back. Takes out a sword. Attacks the elemental. They both hit. Take 13 slashing damage.
I have resistance to slashing, so
Oh, nice.
The elemental does.
Right.
yes, the elemental, not Zyzzyx.
Sally.
I'm gonna try this again. Levitate, and I'm gonna launch him 20 feet this direction, right over there.
Throw him in the back. Throw him back. Can't catch up.
Oh yeah, throw him. Throw him in the back. Yeah, the turner was blocking my view of the back. I want to throw him 20 feet back off the boat.
He digs his talons into the wood of the ship. And he doesn't get flown away. He goes, "Won't work twice, little one."
It didn't work the first time.
I know. It's late.
I just
still got
got
a couple
thrown in the
spell
ocean.
slots.
I can't do one-liners.
I got one more spell slot on this thing. I'm gonna try again.
Castisha runs towards the elemental, kind of yelling, "We trusted you, Captain! Why would you betray us to such an evil god?" And he goes, "While on the sea, you need every protection you can." That's all he says, I guess. It's Zorsashi.
Wasn't my first turn before Castisha?
No.
I
Yeah,
didn't
didn't-
change the order.
Oh, okay, so I guess it's because I thought we tied and I went first. I forget. Oh, in any case,
He was first. I would know
In
it's a
any
little late,
case-
everyone, but this battle will be over quick, I think.
Yeah.
So.
So how fast is the ship get? Like, how far back am I traveling with the ship?
I was gonna say you're like over here
I-
but at this point.
Yeah, I think it was like 50 feet when it did it. So I'm going to, at the start of my turn, put on the but first
you want to try to grab the rope?
Well, let me explain what I'm doing. I'm actually going to skip that because I don't think
Yeah.
I'll be able to do it with like a strength check because my strength is shit. I'm going to turn on my ghostly gaze, so I have dark. I can see through solid objects up to 30 feet for 1 minute, and as soon as I can see Castatasha, I am teleporting right next to her.
Yay.
You go through the walls and go zoop.
And seeing the situation, I don't have any other stuff that I can do, but I will say to Zyzzyx, tell him to push the dragon overboard. And I will. Let me see if I can run around without getting an attack of opportunity, which I cannot. So yeah, I'll say I teleported here, and then I will run next to this guy.
She goes like,
That'll be my turn. I don't have any reaction. Or I don't have bonus. I
goes like-
use both my action bonus action.
"You did leave the elemental's range."
Oh, does it have 10-foot range? Oh, you're right, I did.
Does a 14 hit?
Does not.
Okay.
So,
But
that's fine then.
Katisha is like, "Oh, where'd you come from?"
Nothingness, and I run.
You didn't see anything. Murook, your turn.
Let's see. Okay, I run here, and then I throw my axe, and I just throw my axe twice at the elemental.
You throw two different axes.
No, it returns back to me.
Oh, you got one of those. That's right. Okay.
No, well, not my rage effect does that.
Okay, cool.
First one's a hit. Next one's a hit.
Nice.
I do 16, 17, 19, 21.
It's looking air bloody.
20. I do 25 force damage.
11. Your turn.
Actually, as my bonus turn, since I
Oh,
can
yeah.
do this, I teleport over here.
Right. 11.
I'm going to use the dash action because I was on the completely other side of the ship and still can't get all the way over, but right behind Kashisha.
Right in the back of the boat.
Elemental. Hold on, let me read this rule real quick. Okay. Gonna move into you, Murook. Give me a.
Is it a strength saving? I thought it was a strength saving throw.
I didn't say anything.
Could be doing a different damage thing.
I mean, I didn't say anything for you to contradict. Give me, you have a strength.
I'm unraged, so I get advantage on that.
All right.
Rolled a nat 20.
That is good.
He tries to blow me away, and I literally just bear down, and I'm like, I ain't going nowhere.
All those elephant
That's right.
jokes we were making were damn true, and it's helping.
Blow harder.
He's like bewildered that he didn't cause you to move.
It hasn't happened before, I
Zyzzyx,
swear.
your turn.
If anything else, I actually move into him.
You are in him. You're in the middle of him.
Yeah.
What? We can't hear you.
You're in the eye of the storm.
Spray more poison. Brice, you there?
Zyzzyx, your turn.
Oh, sorry. Yep. All right. So I got a question for you. With the spirit, well, first of all, let me do the same thing I did with this elemental and thorn weapon, and then I have a question. 22. Ooh, a whole 3 piercing damage on him. Yeah, I'll take that.
At some point, your cantrips become more powerful. But maybe it
Well-
already has a bad roll.
Yeah, I rolled a 2 and a 1 on the damage. So my question is, this is not like a full-blown creature, or like a character. I don't think it gets the full suite of actions, because in its stat block it tells me it has these actions: multi-attack and slam.
No, those are in addition to actions you get as actions you get in combat, which are just normal actions that any creature can take. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to dash or anything like that. The only thing you don't really get, those are your attacks, really. That's what that is.
So I still have all the regular 8 things that I can do as an action.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, some things like the snake can grapple as part of an attack. That's
Okay.
why that's like the thing. Yeah.
See, I honestly thought that, the thing in Dungeons & Dragons is things do what they say they do and nothing more. So I always thought that, my wild shapes only did, like, the things they said in the actions. Okay, cool.
The 8 things are, unless otherwise
You do
stated.
I mean, as a bear, you do a little dance and stuff.
Okay, so I used some of my movement to do a little elemental dance. And then, what did you say, shove him over the edge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The entire thing we've been trying to do.
I want to do that. So what do you roll for a shove? Strength?
It'll be athletics. Not the backseat DM Joey, but that's how it is. I just know shoves and.
Well, you know-
and,
You know more
Grapples.
about stuff like this. I have to look it up.
It's athletics versus athletics or acrobatics.
Yeah, but I'm seeing which direction.
So the elemental spirit, you just tell it to move here and then just shove them that way because I'm now technically in the way. There is an alternate rule in the Dungeon's Handbook that you can do disadvantage to have him shoved laterally, but this is just easier.
Shove him all the way to the back. He trips on the anchor. It gets around his leg, and then he falls.
Pretty good. 20. And he
Yeah.
fails.
That's not gonna do it. Ah, damn it.
Oh,
There we
They're
go.
playing with special effects. We can't afford
so
special
he's-
effects like that.
and I go,
Still on
get off your boat.
Since he's technically still on the boat, I'm gonna see if he tips over.
Then I use.
Yeah, it's
Manages
technically
to stay on.
only Oh, okay.
It's at half-half. So he's like teetering on the edge.
And I move up into the new opening spot.
Oh, yep.
And that is...
Elemental will be able to... Wait, he already used his reaction. Never mind. Softened. 6. Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
The recharge.
Is 6 good or bad?
That's a
bad.
recharge.
Really bad.
That tiptoe right here. See his eyes glow blue for a second as he does a breath attack to the spirit and Zorsashi. When you make a dexterity saving throw.
That's good. 17.
I don't think an 11's gonna do it.
5, 6. Zorsashi, you succeed. You only take 9 damage. Full damage. Elemental takes 18.
I am going to have a reaction, which is I'm going to cast Hellish Rebuke to the creature that damaged me, because I thought it was an attack, but creature that damaged me within 60 feet. And he needs to make a dexterity saving throw, DC 14. Oh, I didn't mean to roll that again, sorry.
Ooh.
He rolls a 15.
He takes half that, so rounds down to 8. Takes 8 fire damage.
Hey, good thing he's not a red dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Sally.
All right, yes, I'm going to do my usual thing. Before I do anything, I'm going to try to deceive the captain. I want to like look as if like there's something scary behind him, just to try to distract him. So, do I roll for performance or deception?
I mean, that's just you thinking of something clever. You could use a help action. So to distract him. So that a creature of your choice will have advantage on their next attack.
So I can distract him and then cast Levitate on him then.
It'd be 2 actions. You can help
Okay.
and then cast a spell.
One or the other.
Alright, I'm going to do Levitate again. And then I'm going to try to shove him 20 feet backwards off the boat.
Yeah, so basically a help action, I found out. This is something you can just give advantage. Use your turn to give advantage on one creature
Yeah.
on an attack roll.
There's some limitations to it in actual combat that, because some things get a little more. I think the Mastermind rogue gets a little more that they can do. But that's essentially what it is. Law of averages got to roll in that one sometime.
3rd time's the charm.
He succeeds again.
Yeah.
You jinxed it by suggesting it to get a 1.
He like gets an inch off the ground, and then like reaches down with his claws and brings himself back down.
Wasted three spell slots on this one spell.
Probably just got a high constitution.
Yeah, it's +2.
Yeah.
She gets a decent attack. Zorsashi.
Like, well, I'm not going to be able to push you over, so I'm just going to get up here, and I'm going to cast as a bonus action Branding Smite to give myself, when I hit, an extra 4d6 radiant damage. So, first to hit, first attack with my katana. It's a natural 1, so hey, good job. Second attack. Another f***ing natural 1! Great job, me!
We were just
Oh,
talking about the law of average.
Levitation.
So now we know where all those ones went for his levitate for his saves.
Yeah, so
Your attack.
Should not yell that out at midnight at my place, but still. Ugh! So
yeah,
bad.
what was that about there? Him having the roll of 1 at some point?
He gave it to me, so I missed with both.
He's a divination wizard.
Some DMs would make it hit you.
Yeah, they would. But the Branding Smite is still up with concentration for, I believe, a minute. So if I hit him next turn.
Yeah, Murook.
Oh, I didn't mean to roll those.
I'm going to teleport. I'm going to use my bonus action to teleport 10 feet, so I'm right next to this guy. And then I'm just going to wail on him.
Push him over!
In fact, I don't have good leverage. Your elemental is an elemental is in the way.
Stand there!
Okay,
There's your leverage.
fine. I will teleport here and shove his ass off the ship because I'm getting. And if this is a strength check, guess what? Raging, I get advantage.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why I was trying to do that. I don't mean to quarterback, but like, you're in the best position to do
22.
You're getting mad about being better at this than we are.
I'm legitimately mad that this guy's not off this ship now.
that. He probably will be with that 22.
He's latching on like a cat knowing he's about to go to the bed.
You push him over. It's like that scene in Die Hard when Gruber gets shoved off.
Get off this ship. Or wait, no.
He took the elemental's bracelet with him.
Actually, let me say this. Let me change that back. Sir, you are relieved of duty. Boom!
No.
Epic.
If only the first mate did that.
You get 2 attacks, right?
Yeah.
Shoving replaces an attack. You still have 1 more attack.
Yeah, okay, then I'm going... I can't... I was going to use Reckless Attack, but I can't do that since I used my first attack already.
No, you can.
Oh, well, then I'm going to recklessly attack this tornado that's standing right next to me, because I'm getting sick of it, too.
Shoving replaces an attack?
Shoving... Yeah, shoving and grapple are technically special attacks that replace a normal attack. So if you have multiple attacks you can do in a turn, you can replace one of them.
Does a 16 hit?
No, does a 23 hit?
Does 23 hit, excuse me.
It does.
11 force damage.
Let's see if you can finish this off. Lemon.
I imagine the crewman is still like looking for me. It's like, oh no, he's drowning.
Yeah, where'd he go? He's just crying over there saying, I couldn't save him.
He was so young.
That's a nat 20.
2 hits.
Uh, 27 damage.
That's actually enough.
Yay!
I don't know how epically you can kill a whiff of air, but do you want to do anything special with that crit?
Since it's tornadoing, do a barbarian twirl, and just spin around and smack it twice with the hammer.
Who's crawling now, bitch? Alright. So Christoffin, you see him trying to stay afloat as the ship sails away. He gets further and further.
Before he hits 120 feet, I want to do one last thing because I hate him. I'm going to do Phantasmal Killer, and he needs to roll a Wisdom saving throw.
Can we help him with that?
No, he just needs to roll Wisdom.
Hold on, I'm just going to see something.
Oh, he gets his breath weapon back.
As he floats away, he tries to hit you with his breath weapon, but it's just too far. So what do I roll?
Wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom.
DC 14.
6.
He fails, and I manifest in his brain that only he can see an illusory manifestation of his deepest fears. As he's seeing the ship going, as leaving him behind, he's left only with the thing that he fears the most. And then at the end of each of his turns, he takes another 40-10 damage.
Which is probably what he's already seen.
Yeah.
Being left in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, you don't know what he sees, but he starts acting even more panicked.
Oh yeah, no, I am totally doing this to him.
But you hear him say, before he gets out of view, he goes, "Lord Talos, spare me! Spare me! Spare me!" As he starts to kind of fall underneath the waves. But after that, you don't see him again.
Talos says he'll never let go.
A job well done.
We're not going to see the last of him. That's ominous.
No, I think we've seen the last of them. Talos is very not forgiving of failure.
Oh, but didn't Talos resurrect those other guys when they were drowned?
Yes,
Yeah,
but then
we're in the middle of the sea. It's going to take him forever to just, swim anywhere. It's fine.
Unless a shark with a little man comes in and saves him.
Yep, so you're not sure of his fate. So, just to wrap things up, since it's late, you do a search of his cabin. You do see the trident pendant. And it has the same markings as the hairpin did in the from the lady in Phandalin. And it looks identical to the one that the bartender had. And you have a discussion with the first mate, now captain, self-proclaimed captain of the Ice Flow.
congratulations.
I tell the sobbing crewman that I'm fine.
We ran into a bad storm a few weeks ago, and the captain made it through, but I think he made a deal that he shouldn't have. I think he was keeping an eye on this area, doing patrols, doing Talos's bidding in the Sword Coast area. That's why we didn't get too far. I just never would have believed he would have been capable of that.
First mate lady, I have a question. This is Sally talking. You had mentioned that he was on an island and he's changed after coming out of that island. Was he on that island alone? Was his cat friend with him on that island too?
She said that's kind of where we had this. That's where the storm manifested. We've been making a lot of trips back there. He's been keeping it secretive. But for Sandentar, I don't think she had anything to do with it. I think she's just a little reckless. If the captain took me with you, I would have tried to warn you, but he insisted to go alone. Listen, if you still want to go to the Thundercliffs, I'll do it free of charge.
Hey, we can't beat free.
Yeah, I still think that's where we want to go.
Yeah.
No.
And I don't know if he's seen the last of. It's like no. I don't know if we've seen the last of the captain. He's only been converted for a few weeks, but he seemed very devout.
We're 1 day away from shore by boat. I mean, it's gonna be a while before we even see him again, if any.
Yeah, it would take a literal divine intervention for him to appear to be a problem for us again.
You see,
Well, that sounds like
hear
a
a
great
thunderstruck in the distance. Where does he say that?
Storm's
Nuts.
brewing.
Lemon is going to suggest that she still get paid by the city anyway, but at the very least for the people that fell overboard and kind of died.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's taken toll. At least about 8 people were killed. It's almost one third of the crew.
Yeah, the crew shouldn't, or the surviving crew shouldn't have to suffer lack of funds just because their captain was a traitor's expletive.
I would say hornswoggle.
Next time, I would recommend letting the adventuring party know that you are confronting a possible
Cultist.
cultist. Not that I want to put bad will on you. I understand you had our
We
best
didn't know
interest
you.
in
You
your
didn't know
mind,
us.
but
We didn't know
Fair.
you. You didn't know us. You may have taken his side.
we
And
almost
I guess
did.
this
I
is
mean,
I guess this is a compliment. We stood no chance against a group of adventurers like you.
yes,
Yeah,
thank
probably
you.
not.
I guess
And thank
because
you.
I can do this.
Stop
See?
doing that.
And I can do this.
Well, we're a little off course. We'll get our bearings.
That's okay. I know somebody who can help us. Zyzzyx! Gust of wind.
I'm a cartographer. I can help with bearings.
That would be wonderful.
Where we want to go.
Second start of the north and straight on to morning.
Yep.
I don't actually know if that's true. Where are we headed?
Let's take some of these air elemental corpses and lash them to the side of the boat.
They don't leave corpses.
Yeah, but you can see the shore that's slowly turning into a cliff face. He says, well, we know where we are. We can get our bearings. And we'll say by
We
tomorrow
still have.
evening we should... By tomorrow evening we should arrive.
Very good. I could use the rest after this.
One last question. Do you think he may have sent word ahead that we were on our way?
She says, I didn't see anything like a scrying stone or sending stone in his quarters. I have no idea if he had other means. But I would be on your guard.
Boys, I am.
And as you look ahead, you do see a storm brewing in the distance. And she goes, I think we're in for some rough weather. And that's roll call.
Dun,
Hooray.
dun.
Alright, thanks for
My
staying a little
God.
later.
I just have to ask
Thanks
one
for the
question
lesson.
before we go.
Yep.
Was that enough?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Level up?